Liberty. Fuck yeah. White slips. Fuck yeah. The Alamo. Fuck yeah. Band-Aids. Fuck yeah. Las Vegas. Fuck yeah. Christmas. Fuck yeah. Immigrants. Fuck yeah. Popeye. Fuck yeah. Democrats. Fuck yeah. Republicans. Sportsmanship. Books.
Oh, got it on the wrong screen. But anyways, hello everybody. Thank you for coming checking us out today. This is the Real Craft, the show dedicated to creating new stories while enjoying a nice tasty beer. Tonight we're going to be hanging out with two good friends. We got Joseph, which is Matt's younger brother, and we got Devon here to save the show again. Yeah, tonight we're just going to be... Huh?
No, never mind.
Yeah, oh yeah. Tonight we're going to be just... hanging out talking about military and telling military stories, and Matt's apparently going to make platoon references. So
Platoon references.
that's the idea of the show. We all are drinking beers. They're in the thumbnail. I don't think we're going to be talking about them too much tonight. I did get an American beer. Sam Adams Boston Lager.
Me too. I got Dos Equis.
I got a special beer.
Our neighbors to the south.
I got Island Coastal Lager.
Why's that beer special?
Because Joseph was in Hawaii for 4 years and hated it.
That we just talked about that, Matt. That was exactly what we just said. You don't say, look, God damn it, Matt.
Wait, look, you're not supposed to cuss 1 minute into the
How far
video.
in?
Or the...
How far in are we? We're 3 minutes in, and Matt already made a mistake.
What? People know that they get stationed in Hawaii.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Matt's like, I just say whatever I want.
Yeah,
I know, we know that, but you know, you literally said don't give locations.
Don't say locations.
He didn't say. He didn't say this. These are the lists that you can talk
about. I didn't
about.
think that counted for being inside an American territory.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. Ow.
That's cool. All right, but yeah, I got the Island for that. So that's what I'm drinking.
All right, cool. So, what's the direction here, Matt?
It tastes like a Yingling, but well, 2 weeks ago we had Pat, you and Pat talking.
Yeah,
for a pretty long time about your
I guess we
experience
did.
in the military, and I thought it'd be cool to have you, Pat, and Joseph talk about that. Have that kind of
Me.
thing. Yeah, and me and Devon, who have no experience in the military whatsoever.
I'll go ahead real quick and just gloss
I was
over.
in JRC. I was in JRTC. And got
I
kicked
almost
out
joined National Guard with Tommy.
Did you?
Yeah, we went together to the recruiter.
I don't think so. I know I went with Joseph. I mean,
I
we
went
didn't
with
go
you.
together.
We saw Sergeant Den Hartog together.
That was a different. That wasn't when I joined.
No, that was
well before.
after
I'm
high
pretty
school.
sure.
Because
I
was when we were talking about joining.
Yeah. Because whenever I joined, I went originally to the Army recruiters, because I was going at the same time Joseph was, and I went to the Army recruiters, and then I didn't join the National Guard until I got where I couldn't join the active duty. So then I went National Guard, and I spoke with a guy named Driggers, Sergeant Driggers. Doesn't rhyme with any weird words.
So Cameron was
But yes, Sergeant Den Hartog wasn't there anymore.
Him and I had Sergeant Farmer was my recruiter. I remember Cameron when I was talking about it, and when I went to go take my ASVAB, he was like, "Hey man," he's like, if you're not like 100% into it, he's like, don't go do it. And I was like, okay.
Nobody told
and
me
like,
that.
He was like, if you're not like fully like want to get on board and do it, he's like, don't do it. And so like I just got my job and I just got like kind of set up, and I ended up like, well, I said, well, I'll wait a year, and then of course I stayed at that job for 6 more years. So
that's what. Yeah, I was doing that for many years. You don't really join the military, I feel like, until you don't have any other options. That's kind of what happened to me.
I had options. Yeah, talking about I had options. I don't know, randomly I just walked in one day and I was like, let's see if I'm smart enough to get in. That's like that was what was going through my mind when I went into the recruiter's office. And then next thing I knew, boom, I was in METS, man, and I was at basic after that, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like
You
for
had
me,
You had a peace sign tattooed on your arm. On your hand.
I'm a
oh, yeah,
changed
they
man.
They gave me crap for that throughout basic.
Why?
Actually, I got the nickname Joker for that because Full Metal Jacket, the guy had a peace sign on his helmet.
Yeah.
Yep, man, they called me Joker.
Did they make you the captain of your platoon as well?
Crap, no, dude.
No,
Throughout basic, when I was
because
in
you stood up
basic,
to Arlie Ermy.
I kept my head down, and I just did what I was told, dude.
Sir, if I'm afraid of the
Yeah.
answer, I'll be wrong, sir. He's like, I like you, Private Joker. You're
Yeah.
in charge now.
That's what.
When I
Impression.
left, when I left for MEPS, when I left from MEPS to actual Fort Benning, I kept I was freaking out, and I didn't know what I was in for. And the first memory I ever had with a drill instructor was he told everybody to get the hell off the bus, get the heck off the bus and whatever like that. And so I did, and we were trying to find our bags, and I couldn't find my bag, so I just grabbed one, and then I went up to the drill instructor and I was like, "Hey, this is not my bag. Is there any way we can find our bags?" Like, and he's like, "I don't care who fucking bag you got. Pick a fucking line." And I was like, "Oh." And I was
It's
like,
like,
"Dude,
you guys want to stop for a second? This isn't. I have the
Yeah.
wrong bag.
Yeah, because I had my contacts. I had contacts back then, so I was like, where's my contacts? I need my contact lenses.
He said, we'll get some glasses for you.
My toothbrush, dude. I was like, I have somebody else's toothbrush in this bag, bro. And I knew right then and there. I was like, oh, dude, I messed up. I done effed up somewhere. But I mean,
Did you ever get your bag?
yeah. He knew what he was doing.
Oh,
They
okay.
we just threw all of our bags in a pile, and then after we got rid of all contraband, they were like,
Yeah.
all right, find your bag. So
Now, let me ask you,
found
when you first, or throughout basic, was there any time you wanted to quit? Like, did that ever go through your head at all?
Not really. So for me, I'm a morning person. We got up early for PT. So I mean, I was cool with that. I think the most bizarre thing that I went through, really, like not normal, my daily routine was, other than the exercise, because I was lazy. Probably was all the yelling in my ear. Yeah, like they didn't care if you were, they were just screaming at you pretty much the entire time. That's why I always kept my head down and just did what I was told, and they didn't really mess with me all that much. And we had those dudes. If your platoon, like if one person messed up in your platoon, I mean everybody messed up. So everybody was getting
When the
up.
machine breaks down.
We break down, and I ain't gonna let that happen, boys.
And that was 100% what it was like, man. It was exactly that. But I could probably say there was one point I wanted to quit. It was during our land nav portion of basic, and it was the coldest winter Georgia had.
Oh, yeah, that's
And,
right.
Yeah, like it was the first time they saw snow in like 50 years or something like that, or at least that much snow in 50 years. It was the coldest it was in like 50 years. That's what they told me. And it was, I would say, like maybe 10 o'clock at night. We were waiting on everybody to get through with night land nav. And it was piss and rain, and it was probably about 32, it was probably about 35 degrees actually. And we had absolutely nothing to keep us warm. They put us all in pretty much like bleachers with like a head covering to keep us out of the rain, so we weren't like getting completely soaked. But you're out there doing land nav, so you're getting wet anyway. And that was probably the most miserable time I had in basic. It was just sitting there trying not to freeze to death. Like I felt like I was
Yeah.
about to freeze to death. It was cold, but I mean, we were just all huddled together. We called it the penguin formation, dude. We just huddled like little emperor penguins did.
Now, after a PT, after someone's ceremony, after someone got a basic, I don't remember which one of you it was, but I went and picked you up, and you started talking about how your platoon or company was talking about Hail Satan. And
Oh,
y'all
yeah,
were-
that was mine. That was mine. Yeah.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
you
Me
talking
and a few of the guys, we started It was me and like 3 or 4 guys. We started like this small little thing where we became satanic worshipers, and as we would pass each other, we would go Hail Satan and just keep on going. And it was funny. Like once we started doing it as like just a shitty joke, but after we started doing that, things kind of got better. Like little things, I can't remember anything specific, but little things would just kind of work out a little bit better. And so we would just pass by each other, Hail Satan, and then just keep going. It's just a little gag that we kept doing. Something I wanted to touch on real quick, because the reason I asked you if you ever thought about quitting, because during the shark attack, when you initially get to your actual basic training, that was the only time I ever wanted to quit, was whenever I got off the bus. You know, they're yelling at you, go, go, go. You got people running around, and that was whenever I first had that learned pretty much sit down and shut up, just keep your head low. Because as we're running out, I see one guy trips up and he falls, and you got like 3 drill sergeants just swarm on him. And I'm just sitting there running. I'm like, thank God I'm not that guy. And you're just scared out of your mind. You don't know what the hell's going on. And in that moment, that was like you said, what did I get myself into? I have no clue. Like, this is stupid. And at that moment, I wanted to quit, but you're not in an environment where you can say, never mind, guys, I'm going to get back on the bus. Like, you're scared to do anything other than what you're told to do.
So
Lady Di left the military.
Shoot, when that happened, like I think they call it day 0, if I remember right. They call it day 0, and that's the day you get to, like, you're about to meet your drill sergeants, the ones that teach you how to be a soldier.
Man.
Yeah, and
Major pain.
dude, I remember getting there, and you just hear gunfire going off and explosions going off, and you see smoke coming out of the sand, dude. I was freaking out. I probably would have like thought about that. That probably would have crossed my mind, but I was so scared. I thought I was dreaming, dude. Like, cause I didn't know that shit was fake. Oh, that stuff was fake. Like,
You thought they were really like throwing a grenade?
I heard gunfire, and then I saw smoke, dude, and I was like, oh crap.
And
dude.
that happened on your day 0
is my
shark
life.
attack?
Oh yeah, dude.
Okay, yeah, we didn't have that. It was just to get off the bus and screaming. We never had anything like that until the Nick at Night, the Nick course that you have to do. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
That was the
I
only time we
remember
ever
that.
had anything like that happen. But
Oh no, man. So they had blank rounds. They had like I think it was a 249 and a saw. They had those things just cranking, and I mean it was all blank rounds, so it was just making loud noise pretty much. And they just threw smoke grenades, and they made us run around a track. They made us drop our duffel bags, and they ran around like a quarter-mile track. And you were just running. I was freaking out, dude. I was looking to my left and right, dude. Like, dude, someone's gotta, like, who was gonna help me out here? Because this can't be legal. That's pretty much what I thought.
This
Well, I know-
can't be legal.
just for people listening, I want to the difference between me and Joseph. Joseph did go active duty. I went National Guard, but we both had to go through regular basic training. Even if you're National Guard, you go through the active duty basic training. But
same
also a big difference is he went to Fort Benning because you're infantry. I don't know. I'm assuming that's all right to talk about. Is that cool with you? I don't. I can cut
You
it.
already
now.
said it.
Yeah, I know. It's out there. But yeah, Joseph's infantry. I was in the support units. I was signal, and so I went to Jackson. He went to Benning, and so Benning is that's where they trained the infantry. So it is gonna most likely be a bit
Check the
tougher.
chat.
Brothers in-
Y'all ever deployed to Afghanistan?
It was
Funny,
a
he
lot.
could tell you stories if you wanted to hop on.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if you wanted him to hop in. Like he'll call.
I thought about it because I mean I got other guys that I know. I'm sure Joseph has other guys and everything, but I think
I know
this
Cameron
works
went
for
over
now.
twice, and
You
this
were
thing.
our link to Cameron, so I figured you would maybe tell some Cameron stories.
yeah,
and
he was.
butcher him like he does. Am I right, Cameron? I'm just kidding.
Well, real quick before we got Mar in the Discord, she was saying how when she went in, that they didn't get the gunfire explosions. All she got was the yelling. She
Just
got
a
the
regular
yelling.
shark attack.
Yeah.
Now I'm assuming
So,
she probably went through Jackson as well.
yeah, Cameron. I think Cameron went to Fort Benning too. That's what he's
Yeah.
saying.
Now what I said earlier is, there is still some support people that do go to Benning. I happen to go to Jackson. They call it Relaxing Jackson. I want to set the record straight with that. Now, from the reason it was called Relaxing Jackson is because they got in trouble for running people too hard, so they had to relax on the running, and so that's how they got called Relaxing Jackson.
So I think the reason why we received that kind of like day 0 entry. I think it was new. I'm not too sure. I don't know how new it was. I don't know how long they've been doing it, but I knew they said that they wanted us to have such. There was 2 ways to like mold somebody. And that was either scared the mess out of them so bad, like freak them out to make such a cultural change or like such a change to their normal day, like everyday life, that it kind of like it just like resets you. That's pretty much what they told us.
Yeah, that
in a
makes
way.
sense.
Like you're just so freaked out that you don't even know what to do anymore. So they just teach you from there on out what to do, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much kind of like how they mold you into what they want you to be.
That's one of the cool things, and I'm assuming you kind of probably learned that later on, like in white phase or whatever the phases were. Like I know one of our drill sergeants told us one day, like they kind of pull the curtains behind and let you know kind of what the thought process behind some of the things they do. Like he had told me one day, he said, when we come up those stairs, we're going to make you guys do push-ups. I don't know what the reason is, but I'm going to make you do push-ups no matter what happens. He's like, and then I find this guy is wearing the wrong socks, so you do push-ups because of that, and then you guys attack him. But it's not really his fault. You guys need to work together. And then and it's kind of like what you were saying right there. Like there's methods to these sort of things. Like you said, it gives you a good break in your life to give you that sudden change so you can kind of be built up and start anew. And that's what basic is all about, breaking you down and building you up into what they want you to be.
Yeah,
did you guys have any like private piles in your units or whatever it's called that were like you guys had to like drag and then beat them with a sock? I mean, with a soaking sock.
I think our guy's name, what was it? I think it was Sawyer. Sawyer was how you pronounce that guy's name. No, I'm sure we did. I can't remember anybody specifically. Fish.
You didn't have anyone.
Fish. Yeah, it was Fish.
I remember Fish.
I
remember Fish because I went to your graduation ceremony.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, we're gonna go pick up my friend Fish. And I'm like, what?
Fish was a cool dude. That was his name. That was his last name. Wasn't a nickname. Fish was a cool dude. But he was very I don't give a fuck kind of thing. And he wrestled in high school, and we had another guy that was a state champion in high school wrestling. And so when we were doing combatives, they wrestled together, and the drill sergeant that was there that night said, Fish, if you beat Boris, then you're gonna be the PG, the platoon sergeant or whatever. Not platoon sergeant, but the platoon leader. And so Fish beat him.
Private Joker was.
And Boris was none too happy about that. And then Fish became the PG, and like the drill sergeant the next day was like, Fish, what are you doing up here? He's like, I don't know. They maybe the PG. She's like, get the fuck out of my formation. Boris, get your ass up here. And like, but yeah, Fish was always usually kind of messing up and doing stuff that was kind of not, but it wasn't like a private pile situation.
So
you didn't bring a jelly donut to the barracks?
We have a lot more military fans than I thought.
Oh, we didn't?
We do. We do have a lot more military fans than we usually have in any other episode. They want to come in and tell their stories. So I gave them about an hour. We're going to talk with Joseph a bit more. And then maybe if we want some call-ins,
All right,
send
Joseph,
them a
thanks for
link.
stopping by, bud.
Well,
but
Joseph,
they can
Joseph
talk about
will
their
be here all night.
experiences. They can talk about their experiences in the military too. So we're
Now,
gonna
I will
continue with
say,
Joseph,
just try to make sure your mic's good, because if your mic is kind of cutting out and stuff, we will probably just take you out. Like, we got
Not
a guy
like-
that's in the infantry.
Yeah, not that.
Not like take care of you,
We will
but
take you out of the call.
Who said that? Who said we got a guy to send the infantry?
But now, obviously, there's a lot more to military. I think when people think of military, that's what they think about as basic training. But beyond the military, which is where I'm going to learn a lot from you. For me,
I think
like
it's the second half of Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah. My military experience really can be summed up pretty quickly in just like a college students romp around Europe, because that's mostly what mine was. Is
you got lucky.
Anything I want to say, exactly. I got lucky. I didn't choose. You don't choose where you go. They tell you where to go. I got lucky and I went to Europe, so it was a good time. The Army sucks the fun out of everywhere you go.
Location?
Yeah, can you say locations?
I don't fucking care. No, I ain't in anymore.
He's out.
No, I mean, I'll say, like, I mean, I went to Poland, Germany, Greece. I got to go to Prague one night in Czech Republic.
When when you put in for where you're going, is that where you put in, or did you put in, or did you just say send you?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh no, no, I was National Guard. Whenever we had a mission come up and the mission was
just
lottie
send you.
dottie everybody, and they're like, you're going. Initially, we were going to Germany, is what they told us. So for 3 months, everybody's like, we're going to Germany. This is gonna be great. And then like a week before, they're like, actually, we're gonna be going to Poland. And so we went to Poland, which Poland was amazing. I love Poland, but we went to Poland, and yeah, it was just everybody in our company went there. Like it wasn't like a choice or anything like that.
I don't want a choice, but like, were you relieved it was there and not somewhere in the Middle East?
Yes and no. Like my whole time that I was in, like I wanted to get deployed. Like there was a mission to Africa that it came up. I tried to get on that. I wasn't able to because I'm a tubby boy. So that was all voluntary.
Sure.
So I wasn't able to make the cut. So I ended up getting
I
cut.
was gonna say the thing I remember most from your basic training was that you were skinny for like 3 days when you came back.
Yeah.
And
At least
it was
3
over.
days. Yeah,
was
it didn't take
fucking over.
long. It was fun.
No, dude, I just remember him coming back and he's like, "Yeah, this is the skinniest I've ever been." Taking selfies all the time. He's like, taking a selfie in his military uniform.
You guys can go check me out on Facebook. I think it's Tom Sawyer Modern Day Warrior, Facebook/Tom Sawyer Modern Day Warrior, and there's some skinny selfies there from about 6 years ago. I guess it's like
Not
8
anymore.
years ago now.
Had hair too.
Didn't have
Nah.
any.
It was already
There's some
no hair on
pictures
his
with
face.
hair,
yeah.
just
there-
not
there's-
anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, you
But,
can see my like before the military pictures. They do not look as good as the after.
It's interesting.
Hey Tom, when were you actually like? When did you? When were you in the National Guard? I can't remember if we went. If we.
I went in not too long after you, so I believe it was, I want to say 2014. I think I had my 24th birthday when I was there. I think I went in, it was, I want to say June. I can't remember if it was June was when I started basic or when I ended it, but it was around June 2014.
Okay. I say for some reason I thought you were in there before I was. For some
No.
reason.
You left for me. The way I remember
Oh.
it is the reason this is, and now I've been told by other people that's in active duty that I'm making this up, but the way it happened is well, actually this was the guy that was active duty that transitioned National Guard, but I had initially went into active duty. I went to the same people I believe you did, Sergeant Butler and all that group down. I don't remember if Sergeant Butler might not have been your recruiter, but
Yeah, I had Sergeant Lopez.
okay, I don't remember him. But I'd went into that same recruiting area where the Marines and Navy and all that stuff is. And I had gotten in, and I had to go. I went to MEPS, came back, and they had to, or no, before I went to MEPS, I had to do a med read is what it was. So I had to have, if you have prior surgeries, you got to do a med read. I had to go send that down, and that took a long time for that to come through. And at one point, I had taken my paperwork up to a sergeant, and it wasn't my recruiter, and he said, I'll give it to him later. And then like a month went by, and I was like, hey, did you get the paperwork? He's like, no, I never found it. You're going to have to fill it out again. And then they're like, oh, we ended up finding that paperwork because the guy never gave it to him. So if anybody out there is a recruiter, don't be like that guy. Not looking at anybody in this chat. But,
That's not just recruiters, dude. That's
no,
pretty much
no, of
anybody
course.
that deals with documents in the military.
But so I ended up going to MEPS, and they had a special test that you had to take at the time called the Ames test, I believe it was, for people that had a GED. Now I passed.
Hey, well, it's the messenger test.
I passed my ASVAB, my Ames, and what's the
Alright.
other test you got to take? It's like the personality test.
Oh, that determine if you're
Psych test.
suicidal. Yeah.
I can't. But there was 3 tests you were supposed to take. The ASVAB, of course, and then Ames, and there was another one. And
What's that
they-
test? They're like, do you want to kill yourself? No.
From
All
what I
right.
was told is I passed
said no.
all those tests, but the average wasn't high enough to get in, so I got kicked back. And then I went, and at that point I'd already been told I can't join the National Guard because the National Guard is no longer accepting people with GEDs unless you have 4 college credits. So I went home, and I realized in that moment, I was like, because I had nothing. I was literally living on like some slats on a bed, like I didn't have shit going on at the time, and I was thinking, this is the point where people kill themselves. And I was like, it's the biggest change and epiphany that I've ever had in my life, because I was like, I don't want to kill myself. So it's too easy. Like, all I got to do is pretend like I did kill myself, and everything that's happened before doesn't matter. I don't have to worry about friends, family. Nothing matters anymore because I died. And then I was able to wake up the next morning and just kind of start fresh. And I started trying to get into college. I got set up into college. I had everything going. And I had talked to a National Guard recruiter. He's like, we can get you in. And then, like, the same day that I got approved for my FAFSA, like, money for school was the same day the National Guard recruiter called me and said they took away the Ames test. You're ready to, all you got to do is come up here and you can go ahead and get enlisted. And I'm like, of course, yeah. So I went up there. I got enlisted.
So
that's how I got the National Guard.
So you had two options in your hand, literally.
Yeah, I should have. Well, I'm very happy with my life right now, so I can't say I should have. But I could have went ahead and did that college stuff. But I know how I am. If I did the college stuff, I'd be like, let me just keep going to school, and then I would have never went to. So for me at the time, it was definitely best just to go ahead and join the military, and I'm glad I did. But went National Guard, did my basic, did my AIT, came home, and didn't really do anything for a few years other than hang out for a week and a month. Until finally, I got to go to Europe.
Yeah, that's right. Because you were supposed to go to Africa. You were
Yeah.
you were getting ready to go deploy to Africa, and then they are like, no, or something came up.
What it
Something
was,
came up.
I feel like I hate talking about it necessarily because I know people think I'm making stuff up, but I really tried to go, and what it ended up being is my blood pressure. At the time, I was working third shift, and apparently that raises your blood pressure from what I heard. And I was working third shift, and whenever I went to get my blood pressure, do our medical stuff, it said I had slightly elevated blood pressure. I didn't even have hypertension. It was just slightly elevated. So I was told I had to go to a doctor to get prescribed blood pressure medication. And so I was in the office with my doctor. He's like, yeah, you just have slightly elevated. I was like, well, I need to get a prescription so I can get this fixed. And he's like, you don't need any medication. So I called my sergeant. He's like, look, you need to get medication so we can say that you're good to go, or you're not gonna be able to go. And I told him, I said, look, I got to get this prescription. He's like, that's fine. I was like, so he's like, how much do you want? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, what dosage? And he was,
I don't know. What do you think?
and I said, I don't know, whatever you think. He's like, well, no, you tell me. He's like, because you're telling me that you need, and I'm like, God.
You should.
And I felt like
this isn't how this works.
I felt like such a dickhead because he had told me I don't need it, and I'm like, no, I was told I do need it. So I got some prescription for medication, and then at that time it had gotten too late in the whole thing, and they had already had reserves slots set up. So they ended up just taking another person. So I had, and what it was is because of the closeness to the equator, your blood pressure is different or something. So
did you get medication?
Huh? I got medication. I never used it.
Never used it. Okay, I figured that's what you probably did. So I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Well, how much do you want? What kind of question is that?
And I went out and I bought a fucking blood pressure cuff to take for at home. And I never even used that. And so I'm glad to see Joseph nodding his head about the blood pressure thing on the equator, because that lets me know I'm not lying. But yeah, then I got kicked off of it, which I mean, again, everything worked out.
So like I don't know if it was because of the equator, but it definitely is probably because of the heat.
Yeah, well, that's what it was, is the heat. You're closer to the equator.
If they say if you can't stand the heat, your blood pressure's high.
It was hot as all get out there, dude.
I would have had a terrible time in Africa. I remember talking to you when you may or may not have been there, and you were like, man, you're so lucky. You should be thankful that you didn't go. And I'm like, well, fuck you, man, because I was at another shitty point where I needed something. And so I was very upset that I didn't go. But it all ended up working out. I got a wife now, so she keeps me straight.
I've never.
Hey, you got a
felt
wife
heat
and a
like it
son
was
on the
there,
way.
dude.
Or a kid on
I
the way.
got a son on the way.
But yeah, the heat
Alright.
there, it was ridiculous. You don't want to.
Okay, so
Yeah,
the next
I'm
question
not
was-
good with the heat either.
For everything Tommy just said, Joseph, you say everything that happened to you. Go.
All of that.
That
I
was
can't
that
tell
was
him.
what I always hated. I was always envious of you. I'm like, Joseph didn't have to do a fucking med read, so you were able to go straight in. I was like, I had to do a med
at
read,
him.
so I had to wait like another 2 months. Yeah, look at him.
They
He's
just got to
fucking,
make sure he eats enough.
yeah. Was you on
Yeah.
rations for or like double rations when you was in basic?
No, surprisingly, I wasn't. I didn't get on double rations. I've been on double rations one time, and it was pretty much like week 2 of my first duty station, like my first week at the real army. Um, they put me on rations for
I
like
feel like that
double
was an
rations.
insult, but it wasn't.
They put me on double rations, and like so for me, they pretty much just gave me 2 MREs.
Mm.
Like out in the field, it was just
Yeah. Because that's all you
everybody
guys
gets,
fucking do.
yeah, like so like when everybody else was just getting 3 meals a day, like 3 MREs a day, I was getting 6 MREs a day. And like
That's
for me, like I don't eat much. I don't need a lot to keep me like going. Okay, I can eat like 2 pieces of toast and be good till fucking dinner time. Oh, freaking dinner time.
You
Um,
can cuss on here.
so
Keep it clean.
yeah.
this is a family show.
Well, my fault.
No,
You can
but,
swear, man.
say whatever the fuck you want. Hey.
Hey,
Well, so like I was put on double rations for the first 2 weeks. Pretty much, yeah, like for the first 2 weeks I was in the military, I was on double rations, and then I gained about 7 pounds, and they were like, "All right, good enough." Yeah,
Well, I know
that was pretty much my. I was
we
like,
had one
"Awesome,
guy.
dude."
We had one guy in basic that went on double rations. Obviously, if you aren't aware, double rations is because you're underweight,
There's a set
and it's
weight standard.
and it's
burping
not
in
it's,
the mic. Fucking
it's-
home run.
It's not fun. I can imagine. We had this one guy, super tall, lanky guy, and he was on double rations like the whole time throughout basic. And he came out one night from the DFAC, and we're in formation, and he's sitting there kind of like wobbly, not looking too good. Drill sergeant's like, "What's wrong with you?" He's like, "I don't feel so good. I'm eating too much." And he goes, "Ugh," and he like acts like he's gonna punch him in the gut, and the guy like goes, "Ugh," like back like he was getting hit, and he starts throwing up
Oh my
because
god.
the drill sergeant faked a punch at him. And so the drill sergeant, of course, kept us cool and continued to yell at him, but I'm pretty sure he was worried he was going to get in trouble for
Yeah,
that.
it's just cool and continued to yell at him.
Dude, he probably took him back in the back room. And was like, "Yo, dude, you dip or something? You need some tobacco? I got you."
Is that
I
what?
remember-
Tell the commander.
I remember
what they
one
do?
night. I don't know, maybe. Drill sergeants are really cool. They just they have a job. Like they're not assholes for real. This is just it's all a
For real.
game. Like
No,
all
I've
of
seen Major
basic training
Payne.
is a game.
I saw Major Payne.
I had a drill sergeant. One night we had CQ, and CQ is like a duty that you do at night. Like you have to go watch like a certain area or something. And we was on CQ one night when I was in basic. Me and my buddy, the drill sergeant had us clean. Did y'all have like a drill sergeant area that you weren't allowed in or anything like that you know of?
Yeah, their office and like probably 3/4 of the entire floor of where our barracks was at.
There was like this one area. It was at the bottom where we would do our formations, and the drill sergeant's like, "Hey, like he wanted me to go in there and mop that area." And I go in there, there's like fucking refrigerators, TVs, like free weights and stuff. Like it was nice. And he was like, "I need you guys to sweep and mop this area." And he's like, "I'm tracking that the TV's on." He's like, "You can watch it, but this place better be mopped and swept when I get back." And he goes, "And there's some drinks in that refrigerator." He said, "We bring in the same stuff every day. We know exactly what's in there." He said, Don't take any of it." He said, "Actually, take whatever you'd like." And then he left. And then we just kind of like sat, and it's so like you have such like Stockholm syndrome when you're there. Like I'm sweeping and mopping this place and looking at the TV, kind of like cutting through my eyes, but you're scared to try to actually to watch anything because you're worried there's somebody out in the corner just peeking in there about to come whoop your ass because you decide to look at the TV.
Yeah. Well, see, my drills they were all pretty relaxed. They were pretty laid back. I mean, they would scuff you up if you goofed up, but other than that, I mean, they were pretty relaxed. I had a good buddy. His name was Adams,
Sounds
and me and
entertaining
him,
as fish, okay.
we would what?
No, go ahead.
We would just goof off with our like one of our drills. I mean, like he'd mess with us and we'd mess with him. We'd get him good and he'd make us push and joke around and so all the other platoons in our company, I was part 258, and they would be getting scuffed up from like 05 up until like 1700 pretty much, and we never really experienced that. I mean, our platoon was actually like pretty decent, but all of us were still like as soon as they were like 05 in the morning, we just kept our head down. We didn't really save too much, but that's just like we knew because we saw everybody else getting goofed up, and the other drills they didn't care what platoon they belonged to.
Yeah.
You know, they saw something wrong, dude. They were gonna get in that butt, dude. They did not care.
There's one more story I want to tell about basic, and this because it's my favorite story because I think I made a great joke. I was telling my wife this the other night. She's heard it a few times. We were in our bay, and the drill sergeant said, "Clean your bay, and then meet in the classroom by 1300 or whatever it was." And then, so we're in there cleaning the bay, and it gets right like 5 minutes till 1300, and we're like, we need to go ahead and go. So like half the people start slowly going into the classroom, and like the other half staying, or not, like 2 or 3 staying and cleaning up. And we get in there, and like a couple minutes pass, and then one guy gets up, another guy gets up, and they're slowly going back in there to help clean the bay. Because it's the whole everybody, either you fail or succeed, you do it together. And so after a few people left, and at this point we'd only been in there like a week, so you don't really know anybody, and you're scared to really talk too much. And so I stood up in the middle of the classroom and I go, "Ride together, die together, no matter what, bad boys for life." And I walked out of the room. And then I go help them clean. Like a few weeks later, I'm talking to this one girl. She goes, "The first time I ever noticed you was when you stood up and said, 'Ride together, die together, no matter what, bad boys for life.'" And I was laughing. She's like, "I thought you were fucking retarded." And I was like, "No, I was just making it." She's like, "I know you were joking." Right. She's like, "I know you were joking now, but at the time I thought you were like some weird guy." And I was like, "Yeah, I could see how that would happen."
No, dude, I try not to talk to him. I had 3 buddies, and that was it. And that was the only people I talked to. Other than that, I didn't even talk to my bunkmate. Like I was top bunk and he was bottom bunk, and I didn't even talk to him. I didn't even want to look at him.
Good.
You said you were bottom bunk or top bunk?
I was top bunk, and I hated it. And I was like, I wanted to beat this kid's ass for his bottom bunk, but I was like, man, it's like they'll kick me out, and I was like, I'm not trying to do all that. So I was like, whatever.
Bottom
I'll
bunk
take
better.
Yes.
Well, yeah. No joke. Here I was. So
what would you rather do? Climb up top or just get in bed?
I don't know. Me and Cameron used to fight over the top bunk.
That's because you were kids and you were stupid.
Place to be.
If your answer is when I was a kid, then you were stupid when you were a kid.
Well,
That's
imagine
the wrong
10
answer.
other people also having a top bunk.
Well, it was never that bad climbing up. I didn't
You
really
can't really do the things you want to
care
do
about that.
in privacy on the top bunk with other people
But
looking
what I
at you.
cared,
So what'd you care about,
Right.
Joseph?
so what I cared
All right,
about,
Matt keeps interrupting you. Please continue.
so what I cared about was there was one night. It was 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe 2:30. A drill sergeant walks in, boom, kicks the door in, and he's like, "Everybody on the toe the line, toe the line." I don't know if you ever had to do that,
Yeah.
but there was like this little square rectangle box in your bay, and everybody's like, "Toe the line." So it was 2:30 in the morning. He's like, "Toe the line," and I'm at the top bunk, and I got scared, so I'm jumping off this bunk. Where they have these lockers. They have these lockers there, right? And I smacked my foot on our neighbor's lockers, getting down from this bed because I was like, it scared me. So I'm like, smack my foot, and my foot turns purple. Like my first 3 toes, my big toe and down, turn purple. And so they do these things called health and welfare inspections. And it's pretty much just like they're just checking on your toes. They were checking on pretty much our hygiene, pretty much.
You got to take good care of your feet.
Yeah, and so like cutting your like your toenails and your fingernails, stuff like
You
that.
always
Make sure
change
you
your socks.
Yeah, and well,
Forrest Gump.
3 of my toes were purple and green, and so I was standing there with purple and green feet, and he's looking there. My senior drill sergeant, he comes in, he's like, "Clark, what happened to your foot?" And I was like, I smacked it on these lockers." He's like, "On purpose?" I was like, "No, it was the other night." I was like, "No, senior drill sergeant." Yeah, I was like, "No, senior drill sergeant." It was the other night when they were screaming at us at 2 in the morning. He was like, "All right, you're going to sick call in the morning. And I was like, no, man, it's been 3 days since that happened. So I'm like, no, I mean, I'm good. It's been 3 days, senior drill. I was like, I think I'm good. I don't want to go. He's like, you're going to the sick call in the morning. And I was like, all right, Roger that, senior drill.
Michael Clark
I'll
Duncan's
go."
his fucking drill sergeant.
Yeah, dude. I was-
Sorry, boss.
Yeah, that's how he talked. He talked like that. And I was like, all right. And they were like, yeah, you broke through your toes. And I was
Jesus.
like, is that getting me out of this?
Holy
Is this
shit.
getting me out of here? Is this getting me out of here? Hell.
Did you say
Yeah.
take it back, day off, boss? I got a bad feeling about this.
They're like, no, we're just gonna put you in this wood boot. And you're gonna walk around that for a
A
couple.
wooden
Oh.
boot.
Yeah, and then like I was in it for
in a
maybe like 2
clog.
weeks. Yeah, I was in it for 2 weeks, and they were like, all right, you're good to go. I didn't miss
Good.
any training, anything like that.
In the
So,
platoon where you
That's
spray your
good.
feet with bug spray to get out of fucking duty in Vietnam.
That's like in basic. The way I remember it is like the biggest fear is to get an injury because then you're gonna miss some sort of training and then you're gonna get recycled and have to do it all again.
You're
And I
breaking
remember
both
there
your
was
feet.
this
that's
guy.
why I didn't want to go.
Yeah, exactly. There was this guy that's like was considerably smaller than
thought you
Joseph,
got that
shorter than Joseph, and skinnier than Joseph. And we were doing, I think it was it 12K? Is that the last one?
Your last rug.
We're doing our last ruck, and this dude, tiny guy, he's sitting there limping, and the drill sergeant walks up beside him. He's like, "You good?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine, drill sergeant." Drill sergeant's like, "No, your ankle's messed up. You need to go ahead and get in the van, and you're not walking this." He's like, "No, I'm fine, drill sergeant." And the dude just was, for a good bit, just arguing with the drill sergeant, saying he's fine when he had obviously twisted his ankle, and like you don't. That just kind of emphasizes on how you don't want to have to repeat anything, and you're going to sit there like a lot of these stories about how you're just going to do what the drill sergeant says and shut the fuck up. And this little tiny guy's like, "No, motherfucker, I'm doing this because I ain't coming back here to do it again."
Yeah, that's pretty much how it was. I didn't. So like looking back on it, it really wasn't that bad. Like I've been in for a minute now, so
Yeah, three
like,
broken toes.
looking back on, like
walk
yeah,
it off.
it wasn't. Hey, like I said, I had it for 3 days before
Yeah.
they put me in anything. So I mean, it didn't really bother me that much. But looking back at it now, the entirety of basic wasn't that bad. Like it was
Yeah,
actually
no.
pretty easy.
Well, I
compared to
mean,
what I got when I
easy
first
from
got
what
my
you've probably had to deal with, but I know looking back, it's always fond memories that I always say it's the greatest thing I'd never want to do again.
Yeah, and
You remember the good times.
I'll never regret it. I'll never regret it. But like it's like that, like exactly what you said. Like I only remember the good times that I had.
The camaraderie.
Some of the crap times, like like I said.
But those
I
are
was
kind of
free-
fun now too because
Please
you're
no.
done with them.
Yeah, like I don't have to do it through it again. So like, yeah, it was a good time. Just lie to somebody, like you're a recruiter now, and just like, yeah, dude, you remember this one time I was freezing my dick off in basic training.
I looked down,
Everyone let
there it
down.
was, no longer attached. It was frozen off.
yeah,
Um,
and
I
fell
will
through the bleachers.
I'll tell you, I said I was going to quit telling the basic training story, but I will tell you the time that I cried when I was in basic training. You want to hear that story?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell
That's
story.
it. Of course. So there I was, basic training, Tom Sawyer, 2014. We was the drill sergeant was doing. You ever do a changing drill?
I change my baby all the time, dude.
You talking about changing clothes?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So they had us down in formation. The drill sergeant would tell us some absurd stuff to wear, like have a PT jacket on, your tan tee, PT shorts, and your boots on. And then you got to run upstairs. You got to change into all that and come back down there. And we'd come down there. Of course, we had like 2 minutes. We didn't get done in enough time. He's like, "All right, you gotta run a lap, and you got to run it by this amount of time." So we go and we run a lap around the track. Didn't make the time. All right, another changing drill. You run upstairs, change or whatever. And so after doing that about 3 times, I decided, like a lot of people do, just leave the locker unlocked so you can get up here and change quicker. So I go do that, and I come back downstairs. We changed. He said, like he took the slowest girls, or no, the oldest girl in our company, took her time, her base time that she needed to pass, and said, "You got to run it at that." So we run. At one point, we had people at the line that we had to stop at, just cheering people on as they were coming through. The drill sergeant said, "You guys are cheering each other on too much. This is an individual event. Go up there and change again." But once yeah, it's fucked up because you're supposed to be working together. We thought we was doing the right thing. You're always doing the wrong thing. So we go upstairs, and my locker had been tossed. And what that means is they grab everything. And there was only like one drill sergeant there that night. Like, you know how like once you get so far along, there's like one who has the shift for the night or something. And everything in my locker was tossed out. It was tilted forward. And I get up there, and I'm just like, I was done. I think at that point we were finished. Like the drill sergeant like had said, okay, just go do whatever we had to do the rest of the night. And or change for whatever was going on next. So at that point, like I start picking my stuff up, and it's just like anxiety and like a panic attack, and I just like I couldn't do anything. Like I was so frozen. I'm just like I can't fucking handle this anymore, man. And I'm sitting there trying to put my stuff up, and I can feel tears coming out of my eyes. And so I'm like, fuck this. So I go get in the shower. I take my shirt off, and I just run the shower over my head. I run the shower over my head, so if anybody comes in there, they don't think I'm crying. But right now, my shit's tossed. We got to get back in formation. And they're like, sorry, you need to get in here. You got people picking your shit up for you. And I'm like, I'll be there in a minute, man. Leave me alone. And I'm just sitting there. And at one point, I turn off. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I go back in there. I start picking shit up, and I go, okay, do this. And I fucking start crying again. So I'll leave to go get in the shower again. And then finally, I was able to work that. I was finally able to work it off and get everything going. And we had to go do some detail. And then I told my current PG, who was doing his best to like get me. He was a good guy. He was actually like a teacher in New York somewhere. He's a good guy. And I was like, look, man, I'm sorry. This is what happened. You know, it wasn't like I was trying to be a piece of shit or anything. He's like, dude, I get it. He's like, everybody has those moments and stuff. So, but yeah, that was, yeah, I could not stop crying. It was the worst thing ever. And it wasn't like I was bawling or anything like that. It was just like, you get so mad.
Manly tears.
Yeah. I was just.
They were manly tears, man.
I wanted to like, you know, just couldn't do nothing.
Cry in the shower,
Sit in
dude.
the shower and cry.
Twice.
I wasn't even in. Oh, see, what they thought is they thought I was a heat casualty because I sweat a lot, and they thought I was a heat casualty. That's why they're like, "What? You good?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I actually had a drill sergeant one time. I was doing push-ups. I had a puddle of sweat in front of me, and he comes over and says, "You know what I think of every time I see that pool of sweat below your face?" And I was like, "What's that, drill sergeant?" He goes, "You being skinny." I was like, "Who, drill sergeant?" And he walked off. And then like some weeks later, he comes back by and he says the same exact thing to me. He said, "What do you know what I think of every time I see that pool of sweat dripping from your face?" I was like, "Me being skinny, drill sergeant." He goes, "Oh, private," and he walked off. And apparently he told that to all the fat guys.
We had one guy. He was like super big. And we had this like drill sergeant. And he was from Ranger Bat. He was just doing his I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like stuff like recruiting and drill. Is pretty much what it's called. Like stuff you do. Broadening assignment. That's what it is. He was just doing his broadening assignment and just getting over with. And he called this big dude squishy. The entire rotation, dude.
Bully.
He was like, dude, he would run up to him. He's like, "Where you going, squishy?" And like he would like try to like block his way, trying to like, you know, like I don't know, wrestle him or something, dude. He was like, "Where you going, squishy?"
Trying to wrestle him.
He was one of the cooler drill sergeants.
I don't think he can get away with that today.
Are jelly donuts
no,
allowed in the
man.
barracks?
Yeah, they don't do the shark attack anymore either. They got rid
They
of
don't
that.
do anything, bro. They get emotional support cards, just like pretty much.
Well, see, that's what they would always say to us is they would say like you had these like these cards or whatever that you could just give to a drill sergeant, and it wasn't like that. We did have these cards that we could pull up, and it was an ace card. You could say, hey, and that's for if you think you're gonna kill yourself or you got a buddy that's gonna kill themselves.
This is different.
Is
this
it?
is a totally different type of cards. Yeah, like so apparently
What the cards are?
from what
The trap card.
what new guys tell me that are coming in, like that I talk to, they're telling me like they get their cell phones the entire time, and this is infantry guys. Like, so when I went in, I didn't see my cell phone until graduation day.
Yeah.
You know, so they said they get their cell phones the entire
No,
time.
well, we got ours
On the weekend-
for phone
weekends,
calls.
maybe.
Okay, I know we got ours for like we would have like after like 2 weeks we would get like 1 2-minute phone call that we could make or something like that. That was it, and that's if you were good. Yeah, again,
Talk to
Me and
my
you
him
were
had to write
infantry.
letters to each other.
The way I say it
talked-
is you were infantry, motherfucker. It should have been harder.
So I talked to my dad as soon as I got there. They let us call our parents when we got there, let them know that we were all right. And then I talked to him on Thanksgiving Day for about a minute. And
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah, I
And
think that's what it was like. We had that initial one, and there was like I think we weren't there during Christmas. I think there was some holiday that it came up. I know you got to go home during Christmas, which seems like a good thing, but that's like the worst fucking thing.
it was trash because I was halfway through basic and I went home back to like normalcy for like what I was used to.
And you can't like
and that's
it's such a different, wildly
Oh,
different
yeah.
experience, man.
And you're looking at crap food, like greasy food that you're like, oh man, that looks so good.
Yeah.
But you know, as soon as you get back, dude, you're gonna feel every ounce of that grease. And like, cause as soon as we got back, they pretty much were like, half right. We're in front lean rest position move, dude, the entire
Yeah.
night, waiting for everybody to get back.
Now
They were
does,
working that off. They knew what we were gonna do.
let me ask you with the infantry, because from what I know, which isn't a lot, the infantry, like basic, and what that is nothing like the Army going forward from what I've seen. But for infantry, is it still like that as far as a lot of the doing push-ups? Is that something they do regularly? Actually, still get people to do half right face and all that stuff, like.
Like you mean like in like active duty, like at their duty station, or like at basic?
Yeah, no, at your duty station.
It depends. Like if you have a new guy, they're gonna mess up. So yeah, we let them know what right looks like. I mean that's what as an NCO, like at least what we try to
What
do
is it?
is see where they failed, correct it, show them what right looks like, and then do what we call corrective action.
Yeah,
And that's to install in them what not to do ever again
gotcha.
and how to do right.
See,
And
I imagine active duty infantry is very similar to how AIT was, because AIT was pretty relaxed, but still not. I mean, National Guard is obviously relaxed as fuck. And then
So
going back on active duty and being like stationed at active duty military base in Germany, it was still. I mean, you still had to get up, do your PT, go to formations, and do all your regular stuff. But other than that, it's just like a day job. This is your job. At the end of the day, you go home and whatever you want to do.
yeah, man. Like, so if we're not out in the field, we're pretty much doing paperwork, or teaching, like giving classes on, a battle drill or anything like that. I mean, it's what my job is. I mean, I'm pretty much like a teacher, but also a student at the same time. Because so the younger enlisted are, they're looking to me for answers and guidance on day-to-day tasks. Or like, how do you fill out a DA-31, which is leave paperwork. Like, how do you fill that out? And I'm like, all right, well, come here, I'll show you what right looks like. And if they mess it up, that's my time to shine. That's when I have a little fun. But I mean, it's
Yeah.
not. I don't. Me personally, I don't like to smoke Joe. All right, I find it dumb.
But see,
But unless
that's
I
kind of what I'm talking about. Like, I don't think I've seen a single smoking since maybe AIT. Like, maybe a person made some guy do some push-ups, but like not really.
If they do something stupid, like I tell them how to do a DA-31, I show them what right looks like, and they come back to me with their name spelled wrong or like the dates all confused. I'm like, yo, dude, beat your face, and to beat your face is push-ups. So, like do 25 and recover, something easily accomplished, but it lets them know, like, oh, I goofed up. All right.
Push-ups because you can't spell your name right.
Yeah, like you would be surprised, but you have that happen.
Yeah.
The things that I will like, I hate calling it smoking, but what I would corrective action, like what makes me super pissed is lying to me, being late, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, like lying to my face and being late.
So are you right now? Are you a staff sergeant yet, or have you got promoted yet, or do you just? I think Matt said you had to do your ALC.
Yeah, so I left Hawaii promoted, like promotable,
Okay.
what they call it. So I went to
Yeah.
the E6 board, I passed, and now I'm waiting on ALC. But ALC's so backed up because of COVID, because for 3 months they shut it down. Like nobody's going anywhere.
So
and
were
so
you
you
able to
had
get your promotion beforehand or after? I know at one point they would promote you beforehand. Did they cut that out?
So yeah, they cut that out literally the day I pretty much got my promotion status. So I have to wait for ALC, but they're they're so backed up with like pretty much people who are priority because they've been promotables for so long. Like I've been promotable since July of 2020, and
And here it is almost a year later, and you still
yeah,
haven't gotten
and
it.
but see the crappy thing. Well, it's not crappy. I get it. I understand. It's all based off your promotion points.
Hmm.
So promotion points you get from like doing online classes, college, um, anything that's over, I want to say over 5 hours.
It's like it's for the people that don't understand the military. It's like achievement points for the military.
Yeah, pretty much. And I at the time only had 193. I had 500, but for some reason, when they switched um school dates, like not school dates, but like ways to get into ALC, they switched it all to promotion-based points. And when they did that, they took away some of the courses that counted for promotion points. I'm not exactly sure how they like what was the reasoning between like verifying what course was worth points and what wasn't. So I had a lot of courses that were worth promotion points before COVID,
Yeah.
but then after COVID they weren't. So my points dropped tremendously. I had like 500 before COVID, and then after pretty much after my promotion, they dropped down to 193. So I was like, well, crap. And because of
But you
COVID,
still had enough for the E6 though.
I mean, so to get your promotion, your promotable status, you don't need points. You don't need to worry about that. But what you need, but it was just going to the actual school, so they call it ALC. I think it's Advanced Leaders Course.
Yeah, I think what is it, WLC for E5?
No, it's BLC now, so that's what
BLC.
it used to
Okay.
be. Yeah. I think it was like Warriors Leaders Course when it was WLC.
Yeah, I guess it's basic leadership course now.
Basic leaders course. But so when I got my promotion status, points went up for to be able to get into accepted into ALC. So for infantry, a lot of people know it's usually pretty low. Like when I was a specialist going for my 5, promotion points were like 19 points. And for most MOSs, it's like super high. They're like in the hundreds, 200s, 300s promotion points. Well, when I was going for my 6 and I got my P status, promotion points jumped up from like 19 to 480 promotion points. So I didn't have enough points to go. And I think recently they dropped back down to like 15. So I'm just pretty much waiting on an email saying, "Hey, you're going to ALC." But
Well, I know just like with the National Guard, because again, like things are so relaxed, and you're only really a soldier for 2 days a month. That like you'll get your promotion, you'll have to go do your what is it, WLC, BLC, and then like you have to actually schedule the time to go do it. And a lot of people just never would. They would never get around to doing it. They were never ready or whatever it was, because we have real lives that we have to deal with along with this 2 days. And so they would never get around to doing it. So they would be ready for their promotion for like a year maybe, and then eventually their promotion would get stripped of them. I've seen a few sergeants that had that happen to them, and then finally once they made the change, of course people started actually going and everything like that. But real quick, what is, or not real quick, it's probably might take a minute. Explain what the board was like going, because did you have to do a board to get your E5, or is it just to get E6?
yeah, you have to get a. So the only 2 boards you will do as an enlisted. I don't know about the officer side of things. I know they do boards, but but
And try
I know they do
try to explain what that is, like for people that don't know, because that's something I've never experienced. I know what it is. I've heard stories, but
Yeah, like
yeah,
you and I know what that is, Joseph. But why don't you tell Matt what that is?
I think
Yeah,
it's
I'm a
I think it's
little
pretty
behind.
I think it's pretty interesting.
So, like your promotion boards, right? It's what every soldier from specialist to E5 go through. So once you hit E6, you never have to do a promotion board again. Like once I get pinned 6, I'll never have to do a board again for the rest of my Army career unless I get demoted, which I hope never happens. But so your board.
Hopefully they don't
as a
watch this show.
specialist- Yeah, hopefully. Um, So as a specialist, once you get to the senior specialist range, which is pretty much, I can't remember how long you in rank you have to be. I think it's like a year as a specialist. You have to be a specialist for a year to be able to go to the board. Well, So in the E5 board, you're pretty much getting asked, like doctrine, Army doctrine,
The
pretty much
Soldier's Creed,
ARTs.
Army songs, stuff like that.
Yeah, something like that. So I've never had to sing the Army song, which unfortunately
You didn't have to do that in
stinks 'cause
basic or anything.
you had to sing it all the time. That's why I knew it so well. I mean, I
Oh
still know
yeah,
it to this day, like the Army song to
yeah.
this day. But
The
like,
Army
um,
song. Yeah.
yeah, I'd rather say that through basic. But you had to say the Soldier's Creed as a specialist going to E5. You had to say the NCO Creed, Soldier's Creed, and then like you had
They're
to
gonna make
read
you
off.
say the N word, do they?
What is it? Was it the?
Of course not.
What is like the? I can't remember what they're called. Like I think there's 3 rules of them. Like it's the thing you're supposed to know. Like when you're doing fire guard or CQ, there's like one of the things like swapping out
Your,
commands and stuff. What are those called?
Crap. Hold on. Let me think.
I mean, it makes sense that I forgot them.
Yeah, no, but see, so they're pretty much your 3 orders. They're called
Yeah,
orders.
It's something. Yeah, it's something orders. And
remember
they're
off the
in
top
the
of my head.
Soldier's Creed, right? I think there's a part in the Soldier's Creed where they're actually in there.
Why don't
Maybe
you tell
not.
us the Soldier's Creed?
I mean, but not. I don't think they're.
can't- I
they
think
just say
there's
out-
parts of them in the Soldier's Creed. I could again. Been a while.
Been a while.
I'm a retired National Guard soldier. All right, let's not.
So, there are 3 orders. I know they're your 3 orders. You always go by them. I mean, no matter what, think about those 3 orders, and I mean, you can't go wrong. I'm having a hard time remembering exactly. It's like
I'm gonna try to
Couple
look them up real
beers,
quick.
man. Leave them alone.
General orders.
Uh,
That's what they're called.
that's it. General orders.
Yeah, the first
some reason,
general
I didn't
order is I will
I forgot the
guard
word general.
everything within the limits of my
Everything
post.
within my
and click
military
my
order.
post. As soon as it's like song lyrics. As soon as you hear it, it clicks
Yeah,
in.
Only when
Uh,
properly relieved.
Like, come
Yep.
on, Eileen.
I will obey my special orders and perform all of my duties in a military manner. I'll report violations of special orders, emergencies, and anything not covered in my instructions to the commander of the relief. And yeah, that's basically like whenever that's for like whenever you're basically stationed to do anything. That's like your general. Those are like the general rules. Like you're not going to do anything. Like even if somebody over you comes in, I think you're supposed to still follow your general orders and follow the rules of the person that told you to do whatever. Something like that.
I mean, like, so what I've always been taught, always. So as a private, from when I was a private, they told me, you know, you don't listen to anybody but your team leader. All right, no matter who they were. Like, so let's say, old Private Clark over here doing something for what my team leader told me to do, and then let's say old squad daddy comes. I'm like, yo, did you let my team leader know? He'd smoke the dog mess out of you for asking questions to him,
Hmm.
but he'd be like, that's the right answer.
Yeah.
You asked, you're like, yo, you know what? Does your team leader know what you're about to go do? If he
I
does,
don't like you
cool.
give me
If he
lip,
doesn't,
but you gave me lip about the right thing.
oh yeah, I mean, they're all about that, especially infantry guys. Like,
So was
especially-
there any weird requests for you when you did your board? I've heard stories of people coming in and there's a chair there and you just stand beside the chair and then the first thing they say is lay that chair on its side.
No, not that. So for my E5 board, I was deployed for mine. We were going to do it over, video camera into like where we were, where our company was supposed to be, like our company AO. Well, the internet was down in those buildings, so we had to end up using my first sergeant's iPhone. We FaceTimed my command sergeant major using a hotspot from somebody else. I can't remember. Like, I don't think it was a hotspot. I think it was a Wi-Fi from a local cafe. It's pretty much what we used, and we were sitting there doing the board, and I'll never forget it, dude. It was outside. It was 5 o'clock our time.
So were you
So-
on like a fob or a base or anything, or like were you like
Yeah.
out in the town like at a cafe?
No. We were in
It
our
was-
fob. We didn't
Okay.
really leave all that much. But it was like close to 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, sound retreat goes off, flag goes down. So I'm in the middle of saying my NCO creed for my command sergeant major. I think it was Command Sergeant Major Doucette at the time. And I was holding my first sergeant's iPhone, and all of a sudden the flag was going off, and I was like, "I'm sorry, Major. I'm so sorry."
And
And I
were-
sling.
Were they in a
sling my
different time zone?
Oh yeah, they were back in the States. They were back
Okay,
in
yeah.
Campbell, you know. So I
That's
sling
awesome.
I was like, Sergeant Major, I'm sorry, and I sling the phone down to my side, and I'm saluting, dude. I'm saluting the flag, and the command sergeant major was like, you know, you can just hear him in the background, just like this motherfucking goddamn, you know. And you know, it finally goes off, and I lower my sword, and I look at Sergeant Major. I was like, sorry about that, Sergeant Major. He goes, what the f- are you doing outside? And I was like,
Oh shit, they didn't know.
Yeah, I had no idea, and I was like, I'm using Wi-Fi, I guess. I don't know what's going on, Sergeant Major. You tell me. And well, where we were at, it was super bad with like crows. Okay, for some reason, I don't know why crows of all things, but crows. And there were these trees. There was probably like 60 feet in the air, super tall trees, and these crows were up there just like rah rah rah, loud as all get out. And our command sergeant major was like, "Yo, get them. Why is birds in the background? Get them birds out of there. I thought we were Bastogne bulldogs, not Bastogne birds." And I was like, I don't know what you want me to do, Sergeant Major. I mean, they're like 60 feet in the air. You want me to shoot them? Like, I don't know what to tell you. He's like, man, whatever. He goes, here's first sergeant, whatever. And he brings me to a first sergeant, and he asked me 2 questions, and I get them right. He was like, all right, here's another first sergeant. And then I talked to one other first sergeant. He just asked me one question, and he gives back the phone back to the command sergeant major, and he's like, congratulations, you passed. He goes, but you better tell them to move this goddamn board, right? Because I ain't dealing with no damn birds no more. And I was like, all right. I was like, Roger that, sergeant major. And I gave the phone to first sergeant. He's like, how'd you do? I was like, I'm good, but I would move the location immediately. He's like, all right. And I left.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's when I got my promoted to E5. Well, he's got my promotion status for E5. I didn't get it back. I didn't actually get promoted till I went to ALC. Well, not ALC, BLC back in the States, and that was like February of 2018.
So that was after you had returned back home. You had to wait till you
Yeah,
got
yeah.
back. See, that sucks. I
I
know
was home.
sometimes they try to set up like BLCs and stuff, but I mean, I guess there you might not have been able to. Like, I know in like Afghanistan, they're not gonna have a BLC set up, or maybe they do. It depends on, I guess, the situation.
Yeah, no, they didn't have anything like that for us. As soon as I got back, they sent me to the BLC, and then it probably took me about 2 months to get to BLC, and all that time. So, you know, the rank of corporal, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know you might know. Well, that was the one rank you never really want to be.
Yeah,
All right, because you get more responsibility, but like, let's be honest,
you're just an E4.
you still get paid as an E4.
Yeah,
Okay, which is, you know, whatever. You deal the same responsibility as pretty much as an E5.
yeah,
So
but you're still lesser than the other E5s.
yeah, they still treat you like crap. So I told my squad leader, it was Sergeant Hess at the time, and I told him, I was like, that's one rank I never want to be. Before I went to the board, and I was like, that's one rank I never want to be. And he was like, all right, cool. He goes, don't worry about it. And as soon as I passed the board, he's like, I put you in your orders for fucking corporal. He goes, so you're getting your corporal status. And I was like, he did it on purpose because he knew he was messing with me. So I was a corporal for about 3 months. I had to get my ASU, switch to dress uniform. Had to get that changed to corporal and all this other stuff. So I wasted about like maybe $150 for 3 months.
And so, what people, if you don't know what the corporal thing, like you've probably heard of the rank corporal before, but what corporal is it's kind of like a middle ground between E4 and E5. Like it's very rare you actually see any corporals in the army. Like you get E4 and you go straight to E5, and it's just like you said, like you get all the responsibility, but none of the actual positives of it. So it's just you kind of look like an E5 in training, and everybody hates you.
Pretty much.
Well, I think this is a great time to take a break. We'll take a break, and then after the break, we'll take some calls. So you want to say 5-minute break?
Yes, sir. Sounds good, Opie.
No problem. Stop on that.
Take us
I
out,
had-
E-Rock.
I had to be. So we'll come back at 6:45. Hope to see y'all there.
Yep, yep. Daddy's back.
Everybody, it's
I
going to
mean-
be a few more minutes. Matt, check those messages I sent you, and we'll be back in about 2 minutes.
I got a minute, but
All right, mute yourself for a second.
Okay, so what do you want to do?
I got it. I'll we're good. Just give me a few minutes.
Okay. All right. What's going on?
I promise you'll be the first person to know when I'm finished.
Okay. Uh,
Give me.
our sound's coming through on the YouTube, so I don't know if you meant that.
Okay.
I do know. That's why I'm trying to mitigate
So
that as much as
no
possible.
racial slurs, Tommy. Don't be throwing that out there. How's the book, Matt?
It's going okay. Actually, Joseph helped me out with that. I was asking about tanks, and Joseph suggested the Striker tank, and I was like, that seems perfect. So
Vape
went with that.
talk. Hit the stinger for that, Tommy.
He's working on something. What do you work? Where do you work? He's trying to get the camera set up.
He said, you know.
What I was hoping is you guys would understand that I'm wanting us to kind of just not talk, but you're talking now, so just keep talking. Have a good time.
We said 6:45. We'll be back. We got.
Yeah,
I know,
and
but then there was something I realized that I'm trying to fix now.
What are you trying to fix? Why don't you talk? Us talk and work at the same time. Come on, buddy.
None of your goddamn business what I'm trying to fix.
Oh, Joseph's frozen.
Joseph, what happened?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, we lost Joseph, guys. Play taps.
And he's gone. Probably his Wi-Fi cut out on him. Let me
What the-
check back in with
I
our.
heard noises outside my house. I was like, we're being attacked.
Yeah, man. I think I think it's frozen.
You're good now. We can hear
You're
you,
good
Joseph.
now.
Oh yeah. I was still muted. I was
Yeah.
respecting Tom's wishes.
Sick shirt,
Respecting
bro.
his wish.
See how some
Thank
people
you.
get it.
What the fuck is that noise?
I don't know where Tori gets them from, but she buys me dad shirts.
Amazon.
No, it's not Amazon. It's the actual website. They actually have a lot. They're pretty
What's
A
good.
lot of
Some
shirts
them are
just
really
say "Dad" on it.
What's your favorite
No.
war movie there, Joseph?
good. My favorite war movie is actually that's a good one.
Saving
you,
Private
Matt?
Ryan.
No. I mean, even though that's like, I feel like that should be every American's top 5 at least, maybe top 10, maybe
It's a good
top 10.
movie.
I'll give him top 10. Uh, that's a good one. Favorite war movie. The Outpost is pretty good, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I've had my very first duty station. Granted, it wasn't my brigade, but it was a part of my division. The Hornet's Nest was pretty good. It was a documentary about Fort Campbell soldiers. It was pretty good.
Do you like watching movies that like more towards things you've kind of seen, more current military than like Vietnam, like fucking Full Metal Jacket and that kind of
No,
stuff?
man. One of my top 5, actually, I would say top 3 favorite movies of all time is probably We Were Soldiers.
I've never seen that. I heard it's really good though. The Mel Gibson
It's-
movie.
It's pretty good. It's really really good. Just the story behind it, because I mean, it kind of portrays what you want to find in a BC. Like, well, I don't know how. I think it's called a BC from when because I think they were all they were CAV unit. So I don't really know too much about CAV units, to be honest with you. I don't know if they call their you know, what what he was a BC. I'm not too that's from what I understand, from my point of view of things, because I mean, right now I'm in I'm in a armored unit, and I mean, they're mechanized, and I don't really
Yeah.
know too much about it, so I'm kind of like, I'm excited, but they were, they were the first used air assault into a location, into like an actual zone,
You
but
good there, Tommy?
Oh yeah, we're back, everybody. I'm sorry that it took
Okay.
so long. I don't know if you noticed, you couldn't hear anything. Just kidding. People wouldn't stop talking. So
Well, we didn't want to go 12 minutes after saying we'd be gone for 5 minutes.
I know. No, you guys are good. It ended up working out. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to set up so whenever we have a caller in, it doesn't mess up the cameras. Because
Tropic Thunder may be the best war movie ever made.
absolutely,
yes.
I
I
gotta
mean,
go with
I
BC.
don't. I mean,
most
Goodbye.
accurate.
We just said someone left their fridge open, but no, my fridge is closed.
it is that's like one of my favorite movies.
It's fucking great.
I love it.
Um,
I quote it all the time.
So I invited.
What about
our
you, Matt?
new- What's my favorite war movie? Saving Private Ryan.
All right, Tommy.
A few parts in Forrest Gump.
What?
The favorite parts when he gets on the bus. No one gives a hunk of shit who you are. You're in the army now.
Time out. He didn't even say the whole movie was his favorite. He said
Just a few
parts
parts.
of
Well,
Forrest
there's where
Gump.
he's in Vietnam, and he saves everybody. And that's his
Why
whole
don't you
part.
dodge his bet
saves
like you did
everybody.
Vietnam?
There's people that hate Forrest Gump because they think like it kind of plays off people's emotions and everything. But I think it's a good movie. I like it a lot.
Yeah, Forrest Gump is a great movie.
If you like,
I
I just
don't
realized
know
it's
my
a
favorite
horrendous
war
piece of
movie
shit.
is.
You could have had
remember
that.
that
piece
was-
of- you,
Up.
we could.
Oh,
We could.
Let's
have
go
that
and take
piece
some
of shit
callers. Go
Michael-
to the callers, Ope. I mean Matt. Sorry.
We could have had that
That
Steve
piece
from
of shit
joke's
Bayshore.
Michael on tonight too.
Cameron
We could have
said
had that
he-
piece of shit Michael on tonight.
Cameron said he'd message me whenever if he was free. He said he had
All right,
to
so-
put the kiddos down.
Again, the kiddos.
He was in
Um,
the shit.
Yeah, how signal units, they get it fucking tough.
That's right.
My tune will change once he arrives. again, I want to say, like, if you come in and you're not ready and your mic's kind of fucked up, you're going to be taken out pretty quickly. So I
I'll
guess
put
these
up with
people
it.
have a list of a link to the Discord, Matt.
Yeah, she just showed up.
See, right now they can pretty much just hop in here at any moment. So I don't
Yeah.
actually.
Good.
Yeah, I guess I could still move them.
All right, so
shut my door.
do you want to message her and let her know that she can hop in?
Yeah. Do we
He's
only have
shutting
one
his door.
caller?
Cameron might hop on a little bit,
Okay.
Yeah, Cameron.
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit. So we might have two.
or Karen
let-
as I call him.
You
Let her-
could
let
you
her
could
hop on
also
in.
invite. You can also invite Michael.
He's at work.
Oh, okay.
His
All right.
experience is going to be very much the same as mine. Joseph, have you ever been laying in a bed in Poland with your nose bleeding?
No.
Now, that's a real military story. What had happened is I drank too much, threw up a lot, my nose of blood vessel burst, and I woke up the next morning, didn't know what was going on, and I bled everywhere. Had to pay an
I
extra
never,
50.
I never told y'all the story about Alaska.
Oh, Beasley
you-
never got an invite. Shit. Her.
You were in
let me
Alaska?
invite
I
you,
was, about,
bud.
I was about to send him one.
Yeah, we
Oh
went.
yeah, go ahead.
Hawaii sent us to Alaska for a month.
Well, to be fair, this Discord isn't like a, hey, everybody come, let's hang out in this Discord. It's not one of those. It's like a purposeful Discord.
Yeah, but we might have Beasley on one night as he can
Ah,
If
tell. He
we
can tell us the story.
I'm not
of him
saying
at-
we're not going to have Beasley on, but what I am saying is when we have Beasley on, that's when he gets the invitation.
Beasley can spin a ball of yarn.
Get
Yeah,
his ass in here.
I don't even know where I was going with that. So
Yeah, like he can come in and tell us about how his streams are
No,
going.
I want to have Beasley on
Yeah.
one night. I'd love to have him on one night. It just
I'd love to
I just
have him.
I'm just saying the reason you ain't got an invite is because you haven't been on the show yet. That's usually how it goes.
Where's open chat? You just click on it.
Yeah, you. Sorry for being electronic literate. Where's open chat? It's right here. At this the voice channels.
Devin expects everybody to know all the things that he's already learned.
Yeah.
If it's your first
Yeah.
time, you fucked up.
You just click on the open chat, Mar.
Purposeful Discord.
Go ahead and do what happened.
Is he making fun of me?
Fired. Yeah.
It is easy.
You sack of shit.
Beasley's got a very popular Discord.
Yeah.
I get,
Well,
I
this-
had to, you get new
Yeah.
notifications for it all the time.
He's got 100
This
people in his
Discord,
fucking
yeah, you turn that shit off, man. This Discord would be more set up for openness, but without pointing any fingers, Matt originally set it up, and we haven't went through and actually fixed a lot of the things he set up wrong yet.
He's gay. He's a busy guy. He's
But
gotta put all
originally
the
it was
Godzilla toys
set up
facing
like
the
that,
right way.
where we could just have people hopping in and then we move them around.
He's
And
got to not
do whatever.
take care of his guitars and set his Godzilla toys up and get drunk.
Matt's background looks fantastic now. Looks much better than ours. He can still use a little bit more lighting though. Godzilla's not doing it.
I mean, I could put my camera over here. There's some nice fishing
Oh,
tanks
yeah.
right there. Look at that right there.
Got a goalie.
But yeah, my little buddy, I beat him up. Buddy of mine got it.
My background, so Joseph may not know. You may be aware of it, Devin. This is not the same camera that I use for the stream, so the background's a little bit different.
Really?
A little bit cleaner and nicer. Yeah, this isn't.
Yeah.
If you watch the video, it's different. Hey, you think I'm walking around with this piece of shit background? No, it's
Never
this
heard
piece
of
of shit background. Turn that way.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see it now. I'm looking at the two things. Yeah.
Let's take some
That's a
calls.
little cleaner.
It actually looks good. Hey, actually, Tom, real quick, dude, I went, like when I think it was last week's sesh.
That's what we call 'em.
I
That's
was
exactly what they're called.
I was not joking when I said good job on those animations, dude. Those have.
Oh,
come a
that
long
was you
way.
that said. I thought Devin said that. Thank you. Yeah.
No, I
Me?
want to give you a clap for that because that was cool as all get out, dude. Seeing
With the beers coming by.
the beers coming by, not only that, and like the beers pouring, and like.
Oh, you're talking about on the logo.
on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
books. That too. I mean, all of it. I thought all of it was
Yeah, I paid
I
a
did
guy a
say
good.
It looks
touche.
good.
Very
I
good.
paid
very
I paid
good.
a guy a lot of money to do that. That guy was me, and I didn't pay myself anything. Yeah, with the beer slot thing, I will say like the beer board, the original idea of the beer board that we have going on came from Matt, and Matt actually I think did pretty much what I'm doing. Matt originally did those in some early videos that we had, and then I tried to make it so I could do it at the stream. It was kind of crappy at first, and then finally I figured out a way to do it easily
It looked good.
repeatable. Yeah, thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
Top marks. Top marks.
If you guys are curious what he's
Take some
talking
calls.
about. While Matt's taking some calls, I'm gonna go over to the beer board and show the beers that we had from last week to show what.
I have a truly now.
Oh, fuck. I had the
I'm
animations.
trying to.
I just had all the animations come out at once. That ain't
Person
fair.
doesn't-
I can't bring my kid on here. Well, I get
There
my
she
kid
is.
on here.
There she is.
Oh.
Yeah, she said to
Um,
unmute, and she's good.
Now's
Yeah,
my time to
just unmute.
shine.
Let's see what old Sawyer's got going on here.
Oh, is that Amelia up there? Hey, what's going on,
What
Amelia?
the fuck is going on? This did not work out at all like I'd planned.
I'm Mara. Amelia's our other friend's daughter.
Oh, she's adorable, dude.
All right, I'm gonna try to adjust this shit on the fly.
All right.
But y'all can go
Or
ahead and talk and take questions, whatever.
Tell her
Right,
she to unmute herself.
Well, yeah, Mara, what you're gonna have to do is at the bottom left-hand corner, near your profile picture, you're gonna see a microphone, a headphone, and the gear for your set. There you go. There you go. You got it. You're unmuted.
See Uncle Matthew.
Yeah, he's trying to fix it. Barney.
Adorable, dude. Oh, she doesn't have headphones.
Oh,
You need
Uh-oh.
headphones.
You got some headphones, Mar? Well, yeah, Mar, what you're gonna have to do is at the bottom
That's what I sound like?
left-hand corner.
I did.
your audio quality is a little bit better than that, Devon.
And what's wrong?
What's this doing here?
No. How old's your daughter, Joseph?
She is 10 months. She turned 10 months 10 days ago actually. So
Nice, man. Mine turned 14 months.
10
here
months
pretty
and
soon.
10 days. That's a
Oh,
good
wow.
year.
Yeah, it's going by quick.
yeah, that's what me and my wife talk about it all the time. How crazy it is that she's already 10 months old. But we remember, I remember when she came out, dude. I was just like, what? I almost passed out.
It flies by, man. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
I think Claire wants to have more kids. I don't think I'm gonna.
Tori don't.
I think I'm
I
gonna
gotta
stay
talk
with
her
one.
into it.
I'm good with one.
I'm
I
slowly
think.
trying. I want one more. That's all I want. One more. I'm trying to
Okay,
bribe
fine.
her into, agreeing to it. 10 months. Turned 10 months. 10 days ago.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I was trying to talk to Mar, let her know that she needs to put some headphones in.
She doesn't have a
Um,
pair of like headphones, come with like a phone, just like anything you plug in.
Take
Maybe, but I don't know.
He's, I don't know, maybe.
I don't know, maybe. Look, there's Uncle Joseph.
Passed out.
There's Uncle. Yeah, and look, she's reaching for people.
This is really going to shit right now.
Oh,
I'm having a great time. Like,
You want to talk to somebody?
mid fucking stream, we're gonna take callers. I was like, we gotta set that up. Oh, man.
Say hey.
Say hi.
Can you say hey?
Say hi.
She's like, no,
She's
the
like,
keyboard. I want the keyboard.
I know if Amara was still here, she'd be chewing on my mic. Hello.
Check back in. Let me check back in with Mark. Man, this is taking calls, man. That was a great idea.
No, it wasn't a great idea. That's why whenever I talked about it, that was a part where I was saying we got to set it up, and it would have been a great idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree with me.
she's like, she does not want that microphone in her face.
Shoot.
She's waving.
Hello. Oh, she can't hear me. Oh. Oh, well, never mind. I'll talk to you later about it, Matthew.
Oh, about what? Oh, you said you talked about it later.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing crazy. Matthew. Yeah. Yep, we're trying to figure it out. Well, Tom is.
Trying his best. That's what happens when you're forced into something on the fly.
Maybe they just call in and talk. They don't have to have their own frame. We could just when they
No,
know
I'm
when,
I'm not giving them a frame. I'm making it so our frames don't fuck up.
when our lips. That's true. It's based off.
Yeah.
You're right. That's a
Yeah.
good point. All right, I'm gonna go home.
All right, see you, man. I appreciate you stopping by.
He's got to leave. He's
so
leaving.
What I
and
need
then,
to do now is this right here.
yeah. Hold on for a minute. All right. She left. So
No, she didn't leave. I kicked her out, and she
Oh.
should have been removed sooner. But apparently, I have to do every goddamn thing around here, which is fine.
Good
No,
job,
I
dude.
actually I left her in there for a while because I needed her, so I could make
Alright.
sure it was set up right for.
you had to set up next time. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mark. Maybe next time, like.
No, I mean if she can get her headphones situation set up and her mic or anything set up, we can have her in here. It's not a problem.
Okay. So, Mark, if you hear that, just do what he said. Get
That's
some
right.
headphones.
Just do what he said. All right.
Get some headphones, and you can jump in. All
Listen
right.
to the mat.
Loud noises.
There we go. Should be good. Now, if there's a caller, we
Look,
can set
there's
it up.
cousin Mark.
I ain't gonna lie, man. Them babies look similar. It looks like the only difference is their mother.
That'd be very good. It's a very good analogy.
They have very similar hair. You see, they always say you get your hair from your mother's side of the family. That doesn't seem to be the case, and I hope it's the case for my son because, ugh,
Look, can you say
wanna get
baby?
that.
She does not like the microphone. Can you say baby?
do you guys want to go ahead and end the stream for the night?
I guess
is-
you can't figure out how to get this.
No,
fucking
no,
thing
already
to work.
already got my thing going. We can continue talking about stuff, or
Let's
we can
get
try to
Cameron in
take
here.
a caller in. It's up to you guys.
If you want to get Cameron in here, we can talk
Yeah,
more
let me
military
invite
stuff.
him to the server.
But yeah, everything's good. Everything's set up now, so we can take one caller at a time.
Go.
And
Have fun.
other than that, we can just kind of continue regaling
I think
our.
Cameron's gonna
military
hop in here in a
stories.
minute.
All right. Cameron Zero.
Yeah, it's a terrible name. So he's gonna hop in the open chat, I think.
Bye, honey.
There he is.
He's got to get in here. His mic's gonna be terrible, I'm sure.
No.
Well, everybody else's always is, except for Joseph. Joseph's mic was actually good most
Cameron's
of the time.
really, I'm pretty much an IT guy.
Yeah. We'll see.
All right, so far not so good.
Not saying I was right.
Uh-oh.
So, how's things been as a recruiter? Have you actually done any recruiting yet? Because like you've almost gone full circle. All you gotta do is be a drill sergeant.
Boy,
now.
this is great.
I mean, fucking Matt ain't gonna be a drill sergeant anytime soon.
What you talking about, recruiter, dude? I haven't even been a recruiter yet.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were now.
No. So I went to Georgia.
Oh, my bad. I've got my information from Matt. So go ahead.
I want to go do recruiting. So my plan is after this
Hang on.
go recruiting, and by then
Get
I'll
back.
have 14
Why can't we
years.
hear
in, I
him?
think.
Oh, he's deafened. We're gonna get this. You just wait. Whenever we get it, it's gonna be the best server, best things.
It's gonna be the best.
It's gonna be the
The
best.
first time we decided to have guests on, like callers.
Because I was there.
No,
speaking of this
we didn't
convention.
decide that, Matt. That's the problem. We didn't decide that. We had the show set up. It was going to be the Joseph, and the Devon was going to be here. It was going to do
You
exactly
only
what it was
got
doing
like
for the
7 or
first
8 more
hour.
Trulies, guys.
Let's see. Hopefully we lose any viewers in this.
Ah, there we
department.
go. Is that better?
Yeah, we can hear.
There
What's
we
up,
go.
Yeah,
man?
there we go.
It started with push to talk for some reason because it was it defaulted to that.
Gotcha.
And I
Cameron
couldn't
downplay?
figure out what to disable it. Huh?
He
Is
was
that what I sound like too?
he was hearing us just talk shit about how he couldn't get it to work, and the whole time he's like, as soon as I get this shit,
I've
to
never
work.
had a problem getting it up, sir. I always get it up every time.
Cameron's full of this kind of shit. This is my brother, by the way. This is my brother Cameron. He was in the military for several years and did, I think, 2 tours.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I did another almost 6 years overseas as a contractor.
Golly,
Oh yeah,
dude.
that's right. So what was you touring? Like Disneyland? Like is you the guy? Like you like
Your
hey,
mother's house? No.
That's where I live.
Hey, his mom's dead. Don't make fun of his mom.
Don't you bring that up
Oh,
again?
morgue.
Don't you bring that up again? Well, now I'm going to use it all the time.
My mom didn't die for this shit.
I was just telling someone. No, I probably shouldn't tell that joke, but especially with that. So
No,
no, I did a lot of time in Afghanistan. Did a lot of time in Iraq during the war, and also when we were out, then went back in. I was one of the first contractors to go back into Iraq. Actually, in like 2014, 2015. So just depends on which theater. I could tell you I fought Al Qaeda, Taliban, and ISIS, both as a soldier and contractor. So no, not at the same time. Only once at a time. Only one theater at a time.
That's crazy, man.
That is cool though.
What? So you joined? What year was it? 2000.
It was early.
It was like 2006.
Six? Yeah,
Six?
2006. You'd been 18. Yeah.
Yeah. Devon, you kind of know the story, but I didn't have any direction in life, so I had to figure out.
I was having to tell my buddy that today. I was like, before Cameron joined the military, I said he was kind of on a rough and
scumbag.
tumble. Yeah, and
I
after
was
he got it
scumbag.
all together at that point when he joined the military and turned
Yeah,
his
it didn't
life
click.
around.
Yeah, it didn't click until I got in the Army and kind of got punched in the head a couple times, and you're like, oh, I need to act right. I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
And
All
for some
those-
people, it doesn't work that way.
All those hittings in the head as a child didn't work.
Yeah, none of those worked. It's like, what are you doing? You're not doing it right. But yeah, pretty much that's it. I went to Fort Benning actually for basic, and then good old fashioned Fort Gordon, and then
Oh yeah.
I did. Then I ended up I was doing work at the Pentagon, doing communications there, and did some tours. Came back, and then got out and started contracting, and ended up back over there living in Dubai for a little bit. Been to 82 countries as well. So just depends on your preference, I guess.
Well, let me ask you a specific question that a lot of people won't be able
I'm
to
not
get.
into guys, you know that. I've been told you.
So, I know you're Quebec. Whenever you were in the Pentagon, did you actually work as a Quebec there? Or did you have to?
Hell no. You know how the Army is.
I mean, I don't see how Quebec would function over there. I guess there's something you could do.
The way the Army, when I was in during, because I joined during the troop surge, so when you joined, it was probably very different. Especially being a communicator or a comm guy. The way the Army would look at it, oh, you're 25 series, go fix this coffee pot.
Yeah.
Oh, you go fix this radio. Oh, you go fix this network. Oh, go fix that AC unit because you're a 25 series.
Yeah, I remember you saying that
when I was
sort of stuff. That sort of thing never happened when I was in there. Which again, National Guard.
Oh man,
even
it
on
was,
active duty, it wasn't.
So like when I was at the Pentagon, I just worked on spreadsheets all day and PowerPoints. That's it. I was an officer.
Were you still at Quebec?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, you were just functioning as whatever they wanted you to function as.
Yeah, like it was. Hey, I was also the section IMO, which is what the Army calls like an what is it? An information something officer for like IT. So pretty much if there was a help desk issue, I would help either try to fix it there or I'd escalate it because I was a 25 series. But for the most part, it was, hey, I need you to go to that spreadsheet table working and pull this index for it. And I'm like, okay, and that's all I would do and just print it out. And that's it. And then I always tell people this: if you do your job in the Army, as far as it's not like the Air Force where you can only get promoted if you're good at your job. Where in the Army, I just have to PT, shoot well, look good, and do whatever it is I'm told to do, and I can be a sergeant major. That's it. I have to be good at my job.
I've always been told that you at least need one Article 15 to be a sergeant major. Actually,
I had one that was written on me one time, and it ended up getting me. But I also knew like
I don't know what that is.
It's like, yeah, you can go ahead.
Like
Cam.
a
legal
You can
action.
explain it
Amendment
better.
15.
yeah, like no, not that. That's something different.
It's when you fuck up real bad. It's kind of like the I guess it's like the biggest thing they can kind of put against you, and it kind of leads to getting.
If you get 3, you get kicked out.
discharged.
I mean, it's technically legal action, really, because you can
Yeah.
use
It is legal action. It involves a lawyer. It does actually involve JAG.
You can either accept the punishment they give you, which is usually 45, depending on the type of Article 15.
Did you just
Or
call it
you can go to
JAG?
court-martial.
Jag, I love that show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jag,
JAG.
Jag's the
on
real
show.
thing. That's military
I
like
know.
lawyers, right? Well, no, Matt apparently
Well,
doesn't.
also too, speaking
Love.
of JAG, I was having to explain to someone like you don't know what it's like to be going on a deployment or going somewhere, and you got to create a power of attorney and a will, and actually interface with JAG, and it's a very
Yeah.
real thing when you're only like
Well,
18, 19 years old.
I would
having
say
to
so.
do a
I will
will.
say, whenever I had to go to Europe, I had to do the same things. Not as serious then. I will say, in my defense, like the day before, like we were at Fort Hood. It was the day before we left. Or no, it was before, we had a pass. We had a 3-day pass, and then we was heading over to Poland. And they told us they explained to us the reason we were actually going to Eastern Europe. The reason for it at the time was it'd been a couple years since Russia had invaded the Ukraine and took Crimea, whatever it is. And the goal there is there's a small, like, out of the continental Russia, like little like country or state that's right on the border of Poland, and they said it has enough armament to overtake Europe within 72 hours. And our goal there, the reason they were sending a bunch of people to Eastern Europe, is to just run missions, because it wasn't actually considered a deployment. It was considered a mission that we were just running training missions there, and it was to make 20,000 troops like 50, 60,000 troops, and it was there just to be a deterrent for Russia. And I believe they still have people rotating over there doing this in the same areas that we were. We were like the first bit of people going over. So the whole mission was just supposed to be a deterrent. And so we got there, and the whole 9 months there, like, we're sitting there wondering, like, from what they told us, at any point World War III could pop off. And obviously it didn't happen. It probably isn't going to happen. But like the last few months,
You never
we were
know,
sitting
man.
there,
You could wish.
we were all sitting there thinking, like, the last few months, like, it's going to happen. Like, it's going to be time for us to go home, and suddenly Russia's going to kick over here. And we did, like, I did have dreams every now and then where that sort of thing happened. Obviously, I didn't deal with anything.
It's funny you say that, because I was telling someone how PTSD works, and someone was saying, yeah, but this thing, nothing ever happened to that guy. And it's like,
Yeah, that's a good point. There was definitely always that threat. I've had dreams since I've been home where I was back over there, and like shit popped off. Or I had a dream where I had to go back over there to just, and I've never considered it PTSD, but I guess it would probably fit in that.
that's high anxiety, man. If you're having vivid dreams, or you're having that anxiety, or you feel like you're waiting for something to happen like that,
Yeah.
in that light, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
form of PTSD, man.
Okay. So yeah. But I mean, yeah, obviously and luckily nothing ever happened, but there was always that looming threat of the possibility of something bad happening, and we were going to be the first ones there, and I tell you, we weren't fucking prepared.
Oh,
there we go. I would set your camera up, but that's going to take another 20 minutes, so
it's
you're only here for us.
Well, it seems like performance issues are common in older men. I'm just saying.
You're the oldest one here.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't look it.
I don't have those problems.
You don't look it.
Yeah, I know.
He's on
Yeah.
the T. He's on the T. You
Yeah.
got this mustache?
You look like Dad, actually.
That's right.
It's a little weird. Ned Flanders
Actually,
over there, guys.
Apparently, for some
We
reason,
used to say that to Dad. We'd go,
this is
"You like
this
Ned
is great.
Flanders?" He'd go, "Oakley dokley. I got a big ass dick like him too, son." Then that high pitched hyena laugh,
He would say
and then
that.
no one ever
Yeah.
questioned it.
I
You
am
put
going
him in Devon's.
No, that's what I'm going to say is apparently whenever you switched over and brought your camera on, it actually changed the cameras a little bit in a different way that I wasn't expecting. So now your camera is actually where Devon's camera is. So we'll
And
just
then
leave it this
Tom
way.
is Tom, and Tom is also
Matt.
Matt.
God
but it looks like a
damn it,
different
man.
shirt.
I don't even know how this camera's on there.
I can turn it off. It just gives
Yeah,
me
if you
option.
don't
I can turn
mind.
it off.
I'm sorry. I'm
I'll
enjoying
turn it off,
seeing you.
Tommy.
That shit
I know
off.
I'm
You
too
look
handsome to
good.
show.
It's
Yeah.
what we need to do is we need to start pulling our video from a
Nice
different place when we
haircut.
pull our audio.
Nice haircut. Yeah, brown shirt.
I think his shirt's blue.
Yeah, what are you
My
talking about, man?
God, So bad. Oh
He's
no,
a
Matt's
Maz.
drunk, dude.
This is where Matt finds out he's not
Matt.
able to see colors.
Mute your mic and vape some more.
Is he talking about
Yeah,
my
that's-
shirt? It's olive green, dude.
That's what I was gonna. He said you ain't even got his shirt right. That's the closest one.
You suck at colors.
Look at Matt's cool graphic tee.
Everybody laugh at him.
Yeah,
Nerd.
it's a nice American monster right
Look
there.
at his toys in the background.
I will say that
I actually have toys. I have Mario.
I was about to say you got fucking
Right
Funko
here.
Pops hanging out. I will say like my experience with my deployment or overseas stuff. It's
Like,
tough
I
calling it
literally
deployment. But when I was in Europe, yeah,
Like I have this up
I'm
on my
just gonna take a
monitor right
piss.
now.
Negative fuck the rails.
Right now. Oh no,
Tom, what happened?
he left. He got mad. I knew he was gonna get mad.
This.
I knew he was gonna get mad.
Messed all the cameras up again. He just
Yeah. I love messing with Tom. He doesn't do good with stress. Poor guy.
Just laughing that there's 2 cameras of Tom at different angles. Up right
Oh
now.
my God, let me see this on the.
He just fucking left.
He just left.
He just
That's
left.
hilarious.
Anyway, so
No, what had happened was
hey,
I'm sorry,
they were
man.
I
saying
said-
they
I
started
said-
music now get their cell phones the whole time.
I had to hear
What the fuck
headphones
shit
in.
is that?
Yeah. So I had a couple of new guys come in, and they were like, "Yeah, we had our phones the whole time." I was like, "Bro, you." That wasn't
different.
the
It's a
case."
different generation. I bet
You
other
shoulda-
countries are just laughing at us, man.
You should have
Hey,
given them
how
a blanket
it-
party
it-
right there, just so they know how. Like, what are they gonna do when they get overseas and they don't have communications, or they do like a blackout on a phone, like, and they can't use their phone that gives them those crack endorphins, and it's like poor pitiful me. Like, what are they supposed to do then?
It's gonna
I'm gonna
crack
take
me.
mine to the gym.
See, that's kind of what the fear
that's
is
how
as
we
far
do
as like moving forward in the future, because there's a lot of like cultural things that are happening in America with being more sensitive and stuff like that. And when that starts transitioning to the military, because that's really one of the big things that the ace in the pocket that America has when it comes to anything really. Like, you know, American can get shitty on the inside, but we still have the military always to cover us, I feel like. And so if that starts creeping into the military and things start getting too weak there it's just, that's where the downfall of America is really going to come, I feel like.
Yeah, and I would even agree that, like, it's kind of like I always get asked stupid questions at work because I'm the only veteran that works there, and they always ask me stupid questions. And they always want my like, well, you as a veteran, what do you think? And it's like, well, does my opinion matter more so than the next person? But I got asked that question about how do you feel about people being soft or gay or transgender in the military, and I was like, dude, I don't think the military is very binary. I don't think that's get that people are going through whatever they're going through in their life, and I like the don't ask, don't tell.
Don't ask, don't tell.
I was in the Army with tons of gay dudes, and
And you were one too.
didn't give a shit. Like, no, I'm never, not my cup of tea. Like, it's not my thing. But I
Yeah.
never got, like, I ever knew this guy that was gay. I didn't think two things of it. Didn't care.
You said, don't tell me.
Well, that's what's great
not
about the
tell-
military, and I imagine you and Joseph could
But it was
agree.
never an issue.
Yeah.
The military is probably the most inclusive place I've ever been in my life. Like, there's
You will be accepted for being the giant piece of shit you are, or the great fucking soldier hero that you are.
Yeah, that's 100% accurate. I mean, coming from Campbell, and then going to Hawaii was a complete culture shock. I mean, like,
You were from the 101st, the Tropic Thunder, man.
yeah, it was a culture shock for sure. But like in Hawaii, I mean, we had soldiers that were, they were straight up tell you, hey, I'm gay, and I'm like, all right, sweet, dope.
this
All right,
works
man,
out for
Good
me.
for you.
That's
Yeah,
like
I mean,
the first thing Matt told us
as
when
long
we
as you
met him in high school.
And I was like, man, as long as you have my back, dude, I don't give a damn. You know, you
Yeah.
could be,
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be
Yeah.
staring at your
Goes
Well, I don't know
out.
if you want a gay guy
Have
get
him
your back. I'm just kidding. Don't fire me from my job. That was a joke. I love
But
gay
it's-
people.
It's like the
Yeah,
military.
I bet
like,
you do.
day one, once you get into basic training, you're in there and you're in just like a melting pot of different people from all over the country. You got people from New York, people from California, people from South Carolina, all in the same spot. You even have people from Puerto Rico there. I think one of my bunkmate was actually from Puerto Rico. He had to learn English to be able to get into the military, which is crazy.
We had a guy from Nigeria. He was becoming an American citizen.
yeah,
Yeah, we had
did-
a guy from
Trying to
Kenya.
email scam you and send some money.
we had a medic from there.
Yeah, and then too, like, I even got asked about, like, what do you think about women? And I was like, if they can pull their weight, I don't give a shit what you got between your legs. If you can do
Yeah,
the job and do the fight, do it.
I will be. Hey, so I saw this firsthand. So we had it was an engineer. Yeah, it was an engineer. She was an engineer, and she could carry more weight than some of the dudes. And I was like,
The
all
huge
right,
bitch.
I mean,
Sorry.
no, she wasn't. She was actually pretty
You
tiny. She was
bitch.
like 5', maybe 5'1". And she was, she was a lesbian. which was cool. I mean, I didn't give I didn't give a damn, you know. And like,
It's
but
it's just a
she was-
fact.
It's
She
just
was
that's
a-
what she was.
She was a badass. Dude, she was badass. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
she carried her ruck and a dude that fell. So a dude fell out, and we were doing some training event, and a dude fell out. She carried his ruck and her ruck.
It's
all
funny,
his,
like
all his
as
crap.
a person
doesn't
like
matter.
that, you would rather have her have your back than a man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you'd much rather. It's
Absolutely.
not gonna do the fact she's a woman.
Yeah.
If she can do that shit, you'd want her.
I don't
watching your
care.
back.
I don't care
Yeah.
what you.
And
got
that's
in your
where I
leg.
think the
I get that
problem
she's a
comes in.
lesbian, I guarantee you she has a fucking dildo. So that's
think-
just weird.
I think the issue is more coming from
Yeah, hypothetically, she may have
Yeah.
this thing.
yeah.
issue,
I mean,
I
who
think-
cares?
the issue I think comes a lot from civilians that don't understand that sort of thing. They're like, and they're looking at general
You
statistics.
can't put
where-
everyday life into.
where- exactly where they're like women they can't lift as much, and they're looking at it through that way. But there is women that can come out there and they can outperform a man, and they have, and that's
Well,
the thing is you need to be able to allow for those, but then you shouldn't make the standards, in my opinion, less than so that they can join just for the sake of them being able to join.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But there's also another thing too. You know that all the military training you go through really is it's a fucking mind game.
Yeah.
A
At
lot
least,
of
yeah,
it too
basic.
is like, hey, put all this heavy shit on and walk 20 miles. Good luck. And yeah, it sucks. It hurts. Almost anybody can do it. You just have to be able to get that mental game to
Yeah.
get through it.
Yeah, 100%.
And
Everything's mostly just mental.
It's not about who can lift the most, who can do the most. Because even in a unit right now, you look at an infantry unit, you're gonna have that big giant corn-fed dumb fuck who can lift the fucking front of a Hummer, who can't do basic math, and then you're gonna have the skinny little 100-pound dude, like who's gonna be your best runner ever, and all of them have to operate as a squad, and they're gonna be probably one of the best squads there. But you're gonna have everything across the board.
And that's, I think the
So
new
it's-
PT test, that's what it's trying to do, is it's trying to, I guess, make things a little bit more equal. Whereas you can have this big fat guy that may not be the best runner, but he can carry all this weight. And beforehand, it didn't matter because he can't pass the run. And I think it's trying to, I guess, bring it all in a little bit more to make it more even throughout. But you're never really going to be able to find that true even. And like you said, you're going to have guys where you might actually need a strong runner, even though he can't carry shit. But then, of course, you're going to need that
Yeah.
guy that can carry 200 pounds on his back.
Yeah.
So, well, I was
Go
going to
ahead.
say, speaking of the new PT test, so I
I was watching. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Is this a CrossFit exercise?
so no joke, like I want to say on the 5th of this month, we actually did the new, because they put out a new standard for the ACFT. It was supposed to be, it didn't matter what, so when the new ACFT came out, it was supposed to be based off your MOS, right? Well, they couldn't really do that legally because, I mean, if so, the infantry standard was a little bit higher than, let's say, communications standard, right?
What are you
What?
trying to say? You're trying to say I'm not as fit as you? I'm just playing. Go ahead.
Well,
You
that's
trying to
what-
say I'm not as fit as you?
You think you're
that's
better than
what-
me?
That's pretty much. That's
I could
pretty
eat
much what the Army-
every goddamn hot dog in this house.
So that's pretty, that's
And one
pretty much
mic too.
what the Army said, right? So like our standard, let's see. So for the leg tucks, I mean it's the new. It's supposed to. So you don't really do sit-ups anymore. You do these things called leg tucks. You hold up on you go sideways on a pull-up bar and you put your knees to your elbows.
That was the
Right.
one I was worried about.
So infantry standard is 7. Well, it used to be. It used to be
Damn.
7, right? But they changed that. So when I took mine on the 5th, you had to do at least 1.
Huh?
Okay, now I'm not worried about that.
What
so
the fuck?
if you could do 1, you passed. It was
Goddamn,
like-
my dad bod right now could fucking pass the shit out of this fucking test probably.
So they lowered everything to 60%, which is 60% for that. It was 1 apparently. Or you could opt out of it and do a.
So hold on.
plank.
What's lower than 60% then? Grabbing
Failure.
the bar?
I'm not
Getting your
too
knees
sure.
halfway up.
If the lowest is just doing 1, you
And I
just
have a
show up
question.
and you pass.
I will.
If
I
you-
will be right back.
I have a question because you know that the PT test does it. When I was in, you had to push up, sit ups, and 2-mile run, and together they had to meet a combined score of X to pass. So
180.
so
Yeah.
if you failed one event, you failed the entire PT test. Didn't matter.
Yep.
You know what I
You
mean?
could get-
Is that
Well, that's
that
even
this
if
case
you
now with this-
outperformed a different event.
Yeah, it didn't matter. Like the only way you could go by in the extended scale is if you had to do 100% each one of them plus some for you to go
Yeah.
in the extended scale.
And I think they actually
Um,
did away with the extended scale while I was in. You can still do it, but they don't count it.
They're like, show off, piece of shit, just kick dirt
Yeah.
at you while you're doing the extra push-ups and stuff.
They give you
But
a
no, I guess
badge
my
on your
question-
PT shirt and tell you to go away.
Yeah, don't put that badge on your PT shirt, man. You'll fucking get man. People make fun of you for that.
Hey man, I never had to worry about that.
No, well, when I joined, I was 18 and I was in shape, so it was easy. It's different time for me. I couldn't do that now, but I guess my question is, when the new PT test, how many events are there, and does it work the same way? If you fail one event, do you fail the entire test? Like if I can't do a leg tuck or a 2-minute plank, fuck it, I'm failed.
So, from my understanding, because I mean they're changing, they're pretty much testing it out. It's supposed to be official in like October.
Oh, I thought
The
it
new
was
test-
already official.
No, not yet. I mean, technically, I mean they're still changing the standard for it, right? So, from my understanding, is if you have to get at least a 300 to pass. It's
Spartan
considered-
strong, I get you.
So there is I can't tell you. I have to name them off. So there is
I'll look them up for us.
they call it the push up, but it's not really a push up. So it's called the T push up or something like that. So
Huh?
you go down.
Yeah.
You get your chest on the ground. You put your actual chest on the ground. Spread your arms out to a T, right? Bring them back in and do another push up, right? And that's considered one. So it's that.
Huh?
Then it's yep. It's called the
So
T push up.
is it 6? Is it 6 events? I held up a 3 like an asshole. Is it 6 events?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because there's that push up, the push up, and then there is
That's the hand release push up arm extension.
hand release. Yep. So the
What
hand release
the-
push up arm extension.
Hold on.
Then there's.
Because you know the arm is gonna be like the hand release push up arm extension exercise.
No, it's the HRP. Yeah, how do you take the push ups out of the PT test?
And extend cadence, and he's like, you just go down 1, 2, and he's like, you're doing fucking jumping jacks on the ground. What the hell am I doing in my life?
The 20 count push up.
Yeah, and then there's the ball throw, which you just take a 10-pound ball, and you throw it. You get 3 tries. One's a practice.
I'm sorry, I gotta correct you again, Joseph. That's the standing power throw, the SPT.
Okay. I
The
call
standing power throw in cadence.
and then you do the sprint drag carry.
He has the same laugh as you, Devon.
Well, we are brothers.
Then
What?
you do the sprint.
A couple years apart.
Then go ahead, Joseph.
Then there's the sprint drag carry, which is like you start
Yep.
into the push up position when you're all the way down, and then you sprint to I think it's like 25 meters, I want to say, and then you turn around, come back, and then you get I think it's like 90 pounds worth of weight, and you drag it across 25 meters.
It says 2 40-pound kettlebells and 90-pound sled.
Well, it's 90-pound sled. That's what I'm talking about. So you take that sled and you drag it 25 meters, and then you go back around and you drag it again for another 5 meters, and then you do we did like a sidestep kind of thing, sidestep to 25 meters, and you sidestep back, and then you do the kettlebells. I think it's like 2 35-pound kettlebells, maybe 25 pounds, and you do the same thing, 25 meters out, 25 meters back, and then you do one more sprint there and back, and you got to do that. I think this
3 minutes.
max. I think maxing I think is a minute 30. I want to say.
I think it's right there at it. I think it was. I want to say a minute 36, but it was somewhere right there.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
see.
That's it. A minute 36.
Minute
And then
33.
after
Sorry, minute 33 for 100 points.
Well, then you go do the leg tucks, which they changed it to 1 for some reason, and then after that you do a
And to
2-mile
cell
run.
phones.
Well, see, so when we did that, I
Yeah,
was talking to.
It's fucking. It is. He's not lying. It says leg tuck 1 and 20 reps is and that's between let's see 60 and 100 points. 1 and 20.
20 is 100 points, which is crazy. I've seen somebody do 20 of them, which is insane. But yeah, 1 is kind of like insane. Like that's crazy. That is such a low standard. I feel like. And
Yeah.
then you do a 2-mile run, which you do. I think you get 21 minutes to do it, which is
Huh?
Yep,
Yeah,
21
you walk
minutes.
that.
21 minutes to do 2 miles. And what I was talking, like I said, I was talking to one of my a platoon sergeant pretty much about the standard, like the new standard. I was like, yo, this is kind of like a joke. And they were like, so the run standard changed. It's not to see how fast you can run, like how fast you are. It's to see how like conditioned your legs are, like
After doing all that.
cardio. Yeah, after
Yeah.
your like how good your cardio is pretty much, because after you do the sprint track carry, your legs are smoked. Like my legs were
Yeah.
smoked. It didn't matter. Like I tried to do mine in, I think I got it in like a minute 30. I think it was like 37, 38. So I didn't max it, but I was trying to, and my legs were smoked. Like it was done.
That is kind of
And,
one of the cool things about this, though, is it makes it where you can't just go all out in an event. You got to kind of spread it out and try to
Mhm.
be
Like a
more
marathon.
conditioned for it. Yeah, exactly, like a marathon.
Yeah.
And so I do like
gotta think
that.
about Yeah. And so, but me and my platoon sergeant were talking about it, and we were thinking, and I was like, what he told me is like they're changing the standard, they're lowering the standard because I thought it was kind of easy compared to what it used to be. I was like, they're changing the standard because soldiers that are coming in now can't meet the standard, so they're lowering the standard. You know, so you're getting lower.
makes sense.
You're pretty much getting lower.
Wait, hold up. Hold up.
So, do they allow open heart surgery patients in there? No?
It sounds like they're having an issue with people joining. Then they have a shortage of people joining, so they have to lower the standard so more people can get in.
Definitely,
Yeah.
it's not. I don't think it's the lower, like not that many people are joining. I mean, they're having that issue now for probably. I feel like because of the generation, but it's just because of the generation that are joining aren't fit enough to meet what the Army kind of wants. So the Army's kind of lowering that standard so anybody can meet those
Joseph,
standards.
are you saying here today that we need another 9/11 so people will join the military?
Definitely not.
Why
Okay,
the
just
fuck?
making
what
sure.
the hell?
It was. I'm sorry, Cameron. You missed what I said there. What that was is a joke. Continue, Joseph.
I don't know. I can't get past like the Army when I was in was. I don't know, man. If
Times change,
I
old
can't
man.
imagine. I can't imagine.
Yeah. Fucking.
I don't
Millennial.
mind. I don't mind the new PT test.
No,
The
I just know
the standards
thinking
do
like,
seem
oh,
wonky.
the populace is so fucking weak and so soft. We need to lower the entire standards across the board because we have a bunch of fat bodies joining that can't perform to the normal standard.
And I will say in
Like
my
I would
defense.
say that you
Hey,
can't be
there's
in.
3 fat bodies on this stream, dude.
Well,
Take it
no,
easy.
no.
I'm a
I'll
fat
say
body too now, like-
in my defense, when I joined, I was a fat body. I should not have made it in there.
And he
I was-
became one again.
By the time that I finished basic training, I was able to because in
Devon.
basic training, unless
Huh?
it's different at Benning,
Phoenix.
you have to pass by 50%, not 60%, right? Was it same for you guys?
No, mine was 60. I had to be
Okay.
60%.
Okay, I think your drill sergeant lied to you, or my drill sergeant lied
No,
to me
your
and
girls
let
aren't
me
lying
get
to
through.
you. They're like, they're like let you pass the 50 to get the fuck out.
From
of
my
there. It's like,
understanding,
well,
it was
that's not the
always
fuck out of here.
50% was the basic training standard, and then we had the AIT standard, which is the real standard, the 60%. Which by the end of basic training, as a guy that went in overweight, I
Wait,
was able to pass.
Hold up. You're telling me that you could leave basic training without a true passing PT test score?
Oh, yeah,
From
100%.
my understanding, I think
something like that
50% was what you had
What
to
the
had to
fuck?
beat to pass.
Dude, when
basic
I was
training.
in, if you failed a PT test, your ass got recycled back to day one.
If you failed one PT test,
If you when you was when it was time for you to get out, when it was time for you to
okay.
move to the next stage, the AIT, if you couldn't actually pass the PT test, they would recycle you back to 0 day.
and that's how it should be. I agree with that. I just know when I was in there, it was you had to be
You need
50% to
retraining.
get through basic, and 60% to get out of AIT. When I got out of basic, I was able to do the 60%, but I didn't pass the actual 60%. I didn't pass a single PT test until the very last one, and the very last one I passed it with 60 on all of them.
That's all that matters, man. As long as you're at that end date of like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
your last PT test before you ship to your actual unit, or like till you're considered in I don't know how the National Guard works, but till you're considered like, okay, you're going to your duty station or
Well,
whatever.
you can't leave AIT until you have one passing.
Yeah.
If that
Yes.
last one, if you're passing, dude, I consider that good. I mean, because they did what they were
Yeah,
supposed
yeah.
to. They trained you.
Especially if you were failing them. Especially if you were failing them, then you pass. That's what it's all about in the military.
I
It
was-
should be
I
building
was-
you up to be a better individual.
I was very much a different man in basic training. That's what I always say is I wish I could be the same guy I was in basic. I was very, very disciplined and very. I was
You
just
still
doing
can
whatever.
do that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
No,
but
I'm being serious.
No,
Like,
I know you're being serious, but I'm making a joke because I'm not gonna do it.
Oh, because you're just fucking lazy is the problem.
Thank you. There
Just
we
say
go.
that.
There we go. That's not as funny. I mean, I guess to some people it is.
It's funny to me.
There you
Lazy
go.
fucker.
I'm a lazy sack of shit. I was a lazy sack of shit before the military, and I tricked them into letting me in. And I was able to tone it up for about 2 months.
I mean, but pretty much now, I mean, like basic, they pretty much tell you, like, I mean, from what I've heard, they're like, yo, they have a certain like quota they have to meet. And it's
I've
pretty
always
much like
wondered if that
Army.
was real.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally. I mean, it's for sure. They have a certain quota they have to pass. They have to get through.
All I
And
can think of is
that's-
the fucking Jetsons, where they were doing KP, and he's like, "Oh, this is so hard," and they pushed a button and watched a robot do it, and they were complaining about doing all the manual labor.
Well, I mean, that's fair. People complain about doing the dishes, and they got a dishwasher. I mean, that's just one step away.
I have two of them. I have a wife and a dishwasher. I still end up doing dishes. It's fucking. This country is.
Cameron's the funniest guy in this
fucking
Discord.
asinine.
Disavow. I disavow.
I disavow.
He said, "I'm married.
I
I'm a different man."
But,
I think my dad made that dishwasher joke too. So I guess you finally made it. See, what I hate is when people say I do dad jokes. I'm telling the same jokes I've been telling for 20 years. It's just now I'm bald.
you look like your dad.
I like to think he looks like me, but we all know that's not true.
I grew
So-
a mustache. But I'm a dad.
Anybody got any fun things to retell about their military adventures?
We already told him.
I got loads.
What's the coolest thing you ever did when you was in the Army? And this
Oh,
shouldn't have been the military stream. It's the
destroyed-
Army stream.
Destroyed an up armored vehicle when I was on this mission with a soft unit. I got picked. I was on Camp Phoenix in Afghanistan. I had to go out and do some stuff with these guys off Camp Vose. I was a SATCOM operator. I had to go out and just help set up a terminal for them. And they told me to get the fuck out of there. You know, I'm not part of their team. But we're out there and we're driving, and one of the trucks broke down, and I had to call for a tow truck. And I remember this guy walked over, and he looked like this Viking, like homeless man. I don't know how to explain it. And he was like, I think he was a major or something. He was in charge of the mission. And he goes, I was like, "Oh, the tow truck's going to be here in 4 hours." He goes, "What the fuck they said?" And he walked over and he grabbed the microphone. He goes, "No, cancel that tow truck. We're going to destroy vehicle in place." And they go, "Good copy." And that was it. And then he was like, "All right." So then we all took turns shooting 50 cal rounds in an up armored vehicle. And do you know what happens when you shoot a 50 cal round into an up armored vehicle?
They bounce
These aren't
off.
the military MRAPs. These are like an up armored like Suburban or like a Land Cruiser. Oh, it goes straight fucking through.
Okay.
That 50 cal just ate that armor like it was nothing, and we just mopped it down. And then he put incendiary grenades on the hood and other places and just popped them, and we watched the vehicle just melt, and then we left. It took us 15 minutes to completely just smoke that vehicle to nothing.
That's got to be a shitty thing to see when you're driving around in an up armored vehicle.
Well, I mean, not everybody has a 50 cal they're going to roll up on you either, so.
Yeah. Fair enough. You were on the side that had them.
Yeah, I was like, this is good. Because when I was there, too, they got rid of using the 50s because they were too buku, so we had to go to the 240.
I remember
The
that.
50. The 50 is devastating what it'll do. Like, whatever's behind it and behind that and behind that and behind that, it's all fucking flat. It's destroyed.
They'll goof something
Wow.
up, dude.
Yeah, they'll destroy everything in its path until that's a wasting weapon right there. But yeah, it was pretty cool to do that. Just on the fly. Like, nah, fuck that. Destroy the place. No one argued, no one said anything. It was like, what? It was like, good copy, that's it. Just did it.
Makes sense.
I'm waiting 4 hours for a tow truck. Destroy it.
Well,
So they just destroyed like $1 million vehicle.
not me.
It was probably worth a couple $100,000. It was just an up armored. It was an up armored Land Cruiser. It wasn't anything. It wasn't like an MRAP or anything like that. Because these were the soft guys. They don't drive around in that shit.
Mm.
Yeah, they did their own thing.
Yeah, I mean, I saw an up armored Hilux that was retrofitted for these guys, so they could be a tree in the forest. You know, when I was doing the contracting stuff. So it just really cool. Some of the things they get to do.
Well, I got a question for you, Joseph. I know pretty much like whenever you were in Georgia, well, you was in Kentucky. Whenever you had first gotten out of AIT and everything, I'm pretty sure your day to day was mostly preparing for the moment you're actually going to go out on a mission somewhere. So it was a lot of staying out in the woods and stuff like that, right?
So when I first got to Campbell, they literally just got back from their 2013 deployment to Afghanistan.
Lucky. You got at least 3 years.
Yeah, they were. I think they may have been there like back in home station for probably like 6 months maybe. And so like when I got there, it was kind of like the white phase. They were chilling, just doing stupid details like road guard, not road guard, but gate guard, because infantry they get used.
Are you about to
Or-
explain the arbitration cycle?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much what we were doing. We were just hanging back, and then I probably had like about 3 months of just getting used to the real Army side of things before I went out and doing training. But at Campbell, it was actually a lot like I would say the training cycle kind of thing was a lot slower than what like Hawaii. Like Hawaii, we were out training all the time. Like,
Really?
Running in sand.
Well, that's a different
Yeah.
unit. You know how that is. It's
I
just a
was-
different unit.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
out in the jungle, what they considered the jungle. I mean, it was type 2 jungle is what they called it, but we were
tropics.
out there. Yeah, we were out there almost. I would say out of a month, we were probably there 2 weeks out of a month, every month, unless it was like summer leave or Christmas leave. We were training, and but at Campbell, we'd go do our training and we'd get home. Like I don't think I remember maybe only on the big training events when I was out, like staying overnight in the woods. Um, I was there for 5
Yeah, but
years.
You were in
So
the 101st, right?
yeah.
So you had to do all your jumps and stuff, right?
No. So when I got there, I mean, 101st is now considered like more of an air assault unit. So I had to go to air assault school.
That's right. That's
And
where Campbell is. That's right.
yeah, I mean, there was a jump group out there. There was the 506. Maybe I think it was the 506, 50. I don't know. I can't remember. I think, but there was. I mean, there was an airborne unit there, and they did jumps all the time. I mean, you see them all the time, just out there, parachutes coming
Yeah, I
out
was
of the
about to
sky.
say if you're in a jump unit to keep your airborne status, it's a pain in the ass. Some of those guys hate it because you're
Yeah,
jumping
they have.
all the time.
Oh yeah, like they were. I mean, you could see them all. I mean, every time we were out there, they were out there. They were just getting, dropped somewhere in some random spot. But when I was there, kind of towards the tail end of my like last 2 years there, they were considering changing it from airborne to air assault. So instead of an airborne tab for the patch, it was an air assault tab. But they turned it down because, I mean, out of respect from the World War II veterans and the veterans from Vietnam, they're
No,
waiting.
they're all fucking dead anyways. I'm just playing.
Just about. I mean, they probably are now. But when I was there, they were waiting for them to, so they can change it. Like they were talking about different berets for us. Like we were gonna go to like a silver beret.
Just
But
to be different.
yeah, just to be different. Like it was, how the Army is extra. But yeah, I mean, at Campbell, I mean, when we did training, we did training. But if we didn't have to be there overnight, we weren't. At least not in my company. We weren't over there overnight unless we had
That really
to be.
depends on your chain of command. If they're hard chargers or
Oh yeah, our first sergeant was like, "Nah, man, I love my wife and kids. I'm gonna be home if I can."
yeah. But he probably gets it too because when you do deploy, I get you're supposed to train like you fight and all that stuff, but you got to be realistic too with having a life and shit.
So,
Oh yeah, and I mean,
I was gonna
Go
say,
ahead, Tom, I'm
with all
sorry.
that being said, what the question I was really want to get to, what's the difference between that, and I can ask you the same question, Cameron. So, what's the difference of that between like what it was like being at your duty station, waiting and training, versus actually being deployed to a combat zone, to what your day to day would actually be like?
so for me, I mean, I wasn't really deployed to a combat zone. I mean, y'all know where I was at. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't.
I wasn't anywhere special.
I mean, we can
I
say
mean,
the
it was in
continent. there's a lot of spots there.
Yeah,
That
I
could
mean,
be. It's up to you.
I was in Africa.
I probably know
So I was in
exactly
Africa
where you were then if it was with
more than
because I was doing a bunch
more
of
than
contracting a couple years ago, and I was in Africa in some places I wasn't
Ye-
supposed to be.
yeah, it's probably like East Coast.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I mean, that's where I was at, and I mean, there wasn't much going on. I mean, we were chilling.
I used to do a bunch of the
I mean,
ISR stuff, so I was out there with the surveillance guys towards the end of my
Oh,
contracting, doing all the just the ISR planes, setting their communication system stuff up for the talk and with JSOC and shit. So
oh, yeah, we actually had a couple of JSOC
Yep.
guys attached to us, but yeah, I mean, like for me, Campbell, I mean, the training was a lot harder compared to what we actually went through.
Mhm.
We didn't really do all too much. I mean, I can tell you our daily schedule. I mean, for me, but back when I was there, after 1 o'clock, it was too hot to really do anything. So we were just doing our own thing pretty much at the gym, eating,
Yep.
then back to the gym. At night is when we pretty much did our like PT because that's the only time it was cool enough to do PT. They didn't want us to fucking like heat stroke or anything. But yeah, I mean, even at night it was like 93, something like that, on average. So back at Campbell, it was a lot easier. I mean, just the training. Don't get me wrong, we trained while we were there, but yeah, I would say it was a lot.
I know.
They were in the paint, but it wasn't nearly as bad.
I know from what a lot that I've heard is that basically like yeah you train your ass off and get ready for the your time to shine, but once you're over there, it depends. Like when Cameron was there, like right at the jump start of it all, things were probably definitely more intense, but now a lot of it's just kind of just a presence is what they're really wanting. And so you get over there and it's a lot of just trying to keep the training up, your physical fitness, and then other than that you're just kind of there. And that's what I've heard from a lot of guys that's in my unit that actually, like I was in a similar situation where whenever I got in my unit in the National Guard, they had just got back from Afghanistan. That's another thing a lot of people don't realize about National Guard is a lot of those units actually do go to Afghanistan or Iraq, especially the support units.
the National Guard and the reserves actually equate to over 50% of fighting forces during the height of
Yeah.
the war.
I don't want
Over
to be the one to say
50%.
it, but yeah, the only, from my understanding, the only people that deploy more than the National Guard, as far as like going overseas and stuff, is the what do you call infantry?
Soft community.
The infantry is the only ones that actually deploy more than
Yeah, but
like,
the infantry units couldn't keep up with the rotate rate because they were not
really?
built to sustain a war for the past 10 years. That's why the difference between the reserves and National Guards, National Guard actually has combat arms, reserves do not. So that's whenever you would have, like, they call it Big Army, like the 82nd Airborne would come out, and then they would send in, like, a National Guard infantry unit to replace them because Big Army couldn't keep up with the rotation because they're not built to withstand a 15-year war.
yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I mean,
They can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, even for us, when I was out, when I was forward, I mean, we were attacked. I mean, it was just our company, just
Mhm.
my company out, and we were attached. We were technically attached to National Guard unit in Arkansas.
Yep.
And I mean, they were there for the full 12 months, so we were supposed to be there with them for full 12 months. But then they changed that, so one of our sister companies could take our place. So the National Guard unit were actually there for 12 months, but then we
Yep.
got switched out 6 months into it.
And that's what I think a
Plus,
lot of people aren't aware of
Right.
is that the National Guard actually, from my understanding, is the way I've always looked at it is if you join active duty, you have a duty station you're assigned to, and you go there and you do a job, whether it's in Japan, whether it's in Georgia, whether it's in wherever, Hawaii, wherever it might be.
BFE.
National Guard, you're here to you're just training your weekend or whatever, but then when it's your turn, because like you said, through your rotations, some people have good ones. Like I think there's a unit where I live that their deployment is to go to DC, but you'll have things pop up. Like I had the Europe thing pop up. 4 years before that, they had Afghanistan pop up. Whenever your turn comes up, you're going wherever they tell you. You don't really have much to say about it.
I think that where you're going, what you're doing, and what your mission is going to dictate your quality of life. Because as a soldier, when I was actually in Afghanistan for the first Afghan elections. It was pretty hot. I didn't see too much of anything really. I mean, most times something would happen and it's over before it even went down. Like a couple pops, and that's it. It's over. Um, Nothing else. And you're on a fob, and then being a comm guy, and especially being a satcom guy, I call horde around because there was no sat. Like when I was in Afghanistan during the height of the war, when they sanctioned all those troops to go there, I was one of like 6 or 7 satcom guys in the entire theater. That includes I was underneath the 82nd's umbrella in the Bagram AO, I guess you could call it, and I was going to places all the time, do and do things, and I'd have helicopters pick me up and take me and drop me, and then come bring me back. And it was just different. And as a contractor, it was almost the exact same thing, just more on the commercial side. I've seen almost every fob in the northern AO as a contractor. I went all the way up and down the Paki border. I've been all the way to the furthest north. I've been all the way all around, even in the south, around Kandahar, Helmand. I mean, I've been to some of those big bases down there. Camp Leatherneck, did a bunch of stuff out there. And I was able to, but I had a lot more freedom to move. So it just depends on what you're doing and where you're at. It's going to dictate. And infantry guys, too, like I got to say, they're not using them like they used to use them, even in the slightest, where, like you were just saying, usually infantry guys get used to fill in like gate duty, security, QRF. And the only guys that really get to run like true and blue, like real missions, are either like a ranger unit that's tied to some type of, because now we're not going after, it's not red versus blue anymore. It's, hey, we have a high value target here, so we got to go get them. We want to do a snatching group. Who have trained their ass off for years to go and do it, get in, get out. And the infantry, if anything, are going to support them getting out, getting from A to B.
That's what we were. We were QRF.
Well, let me ask you, Cameron. What exactly? So, I guess as best you can, what can you say is the big difference between being like actual, military, Army military versus being a contractor? Because that's another thing I think a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah, that's one of the questions I want to ask. Is like,
I don't think a lot of people realize there's a lot of contracting.
As a contractor,
do you keep your clearance if you have one?
Yeah, I still have my clearance is still active right now.
Mine is probably not.
Mine is still active. I actually, because you guys know, I'm actually moving back to Tampa, and I've had some guys and some talks, and I might be getting back into that realm, and we'll see what's going to happen. But yeah, I do get to keep my clearance. It expires. Everything has a shelf life though. The clearance, like a TS is 5 years, a top secret's 10 years, and whatever, and it's kind of tied to you. If you get out of the Army, you have a clearance. It stays active until it expires, unless someone renews it or picks it up. And
so
as a contractor overseas, though,
yeah, go ahead.
First of all, you are really fucking cool. Everybody looks at you so different, especially the soldiers. I know when I was a soldier looking at contractors,
is it kind of like a look of jealousy?
Cool.
Is it,
or like you're like, I want to be like you when I grow up? Like, how did you get to doing this? And everybody already thinks that you make $500,000 and you're fucking rich as hell.
Yeah, I guess all the contractors are prior military that have went on to bigger and better things.
And it's and especially depending on what you're doing and things like that. It's like, wow, that's so cool. Like, how'd you get into this? Oh, I know somebody. So when you get out and give me a call, you make a lot of contacts. But as a contractor over there, you're treated like a second-class citizen sometimes. Like, I know on Camp Leatherneck, for example, it's a Marine Corps installation, and the Marines have no fun to be had ever. You couldn't be in the gym during any time between this time and this time as a contractor, and they had a curfew if you're a contractor. And if you get called out past your time, they'll kick your ass off base. Oh, yeah. Camp Leatherneck was... Yeah.
And now, were you living on base?
Yeah, when I was in Leatherneck, I was. But when I was in Kabul mainly, or in like the Bagram AO, I call it, or the Kabul area, I lived in a villa right around the corner from the embassy in KC, Eggers, all that stuff. Like, I lived in a villa. Like, we had Afghan security, and I had a bunch of SAS guys that I was living with, and some American guys, and we were doing a bunch of stuff for big Army, small Army, 3-letter agencies, and other various entities. And I would drive on base and drive off base. I would, like every Friday, I think I was telling Devon this, we used to do a hash run where we'd meet up at an NGO, like a university, type thing. We drink a bunch of beer and go for a run through Kabul, drunk as fuck off our mind, and then go back to work and do whatever we were doing. And
So
bounce
did-
around. So it just
did
depends
you
on what
guys-
you're doing and where you're at.
Did you guys have like a PT standard that y'all were still had to
Contractors?
follow up on? Yeah.
No, I was hired for what I know, not what I can physically
Okay.
do. Like I was hired for my skill set, just like
regular
how many.
job.
Yeah, like my job is to get the SATCOM dish up, not go do a bunch of push-ups and pass this and be physically fit, you know. But now when you do deploy as a contractor, you do have to pass basic, you know, physicals and shit like that. Like you can't go in there and be like, wow, you have heart condition, you can't deploy, because you can't be
Yeah.
non-deployable deemed by the military and they will not let you go.
Well,
Man, you know about that?
Yeah,
wouldn't
well, I
let me
mean,
in.
it just depends on what you're doing, though. Because I mean, even you can still be a DoD contractor and not deploy. Like I was still back here in the States and doing stuff, even when I wasn't over all the time. Because when I was living in Greenville, when I came back for a while, I was in and out all the time because of what I was doing and where I was going and the logistics of things. So, like I have like a 4-month waiting period. I would just come home and just support from the house. Guys would call me to help them work through stuff the best I could. If I had to do some secure stuff, I'd go to a secure facility and do some secure stuff, and then I would leave and I'd just hop over there, hop out. I was doing kind of like quick deploy type stuff, like go set up shop, get everything up and running, get in, get out, and I would stay for the mission or the op or whatever, then I'd leave.
Well,
So,
real
go ahead.
I want to tell you a cool story, Cameron, that you might be able to understand. Other people may not, and you'll probably understand it more than me, hopefully. So, when I was in Greece, all we were doing is we had an STT set up that we were just providing, I guess, what's it called? I guess what's the fucking word
Step
for?
site?
What's the word for communications that is encrypted communications? That's all we were doing. We had a CPN stack and everything, and all they just send emails or whatever they would do. So I don't know how any of that shit works. I just know how to set up STT. But there was one day
You were probably landing in Germany and touching a secure server there. That's
Yeah,
you're in the same footprint. That's where
yeah,
everything lands.
Yeah, exactly. So there was one night, I can't remember what it was. I guess they needed I know there's Nipper Sipper. I can't remember which one's the more classified one.
Bices?
No, I don't know what.
Oh,
know
sorry.
what
Go
that
ahead.
is.
I'll let you.
But anyways,
That's another network, another secure network.
what it was is we needed to, for some reason, I can't remember which one is the more secure one, FDMA or TDMA. Do you know which one is the more?
FDMA is a dedicated link, where TDMA is time bursting and you're sharing bandwidth. So it would be an FDMA link that's more of a dedicated link.
So from my understanding, you can't run TDMA through an STD or something like that. And so we had.
It depends on the modem. It depends on the modem you have.
Yeah, and I think we might have had a TDMA modem. I can't remember exactly, but I know I didn't know what the
Linkway.
Yeah, we had a Linkway modem.
Then it can only do TDMA.
Okay, so we had that set up. Again, there might have been another modem in there that I'm not necessarily aware of, but this is what's cool. Is not what I did, it's what somebody else did. We had this staff sergeant that was in Germany that I had on my cell phone talking to him, and he ran me through the whole process to remote link him into the computer that I was working from, and then, which was already crazy to me that he's able to remote in, from Germany.
I can do that
Greece.
right now from my
and
house.
that shit
link,
blows
I can
my
log
mind.
in securely.
What's cool is this guy was so knowledgeable on the system and everything. Is he was able to give me step by step, like I was watching a YouTube video and he was watching my screen, like tell me everything exactly to do. And I linked it in and everything. And I ended up, I ran one of the cables. It was a red cable, and he's like, "Anybody ask? You didn't run that red cable." And then
how dare you use a red cable?
Yeah,
for something
exactly.
That's
And
where
so
the encryption happens.
He ended up setting it up and was able to, once I let him in, he did all the programming or whatever needed to be done, and he was able to set it up to be running FDMA. And I always thought that was like the coolest thing ever, is that this guy remoted in. He was so knowledgeable of everything. It's crazy somebody can be that good at something.
Yeah. Well, this is about the 2.5 hour mark.
2.5 hours. It is.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
bad.
So before we
could have
head
landed on a better story.
before we head out, it is me and Joseph's our youngest brother's birthday today.
All right.
So,
See you guys later.
So happy birthday, Timmy. Anyway, anybody else got anything to say before we get to
Happy
the closing?
birthday, Timmy.
Happy
No,
birthday, Tim.
I want to say I'm sorry for the technical difficulties we had. We kind of swapped up
That's
the stream
embarrassing.
midstream, burping in the mic.
And
That's always
burping.
cool.
Fucking cool, dude.
We swapped up the stream midstream, unplanned, so we can get extra guests in here, so we can talk and get their experiences and everything like that.
That's
So
right.
we appreciate you guys kind of bearing through that with us. I think overall it's been really good. We got to hear a lot of cool stuff. This is exactly what I wanted, and me personally, I would still like to kind of be able to hatch out because there's so much more that could be talked about. Just
Yeah,
I know
think
there's
there needs to be a part 2.
I know there's more that I could talk about, much less fucking Joseph and Cameron. Like it's just it's almost like a lifetime worth of shit to talk about. But appreciate everybody that's been here. Has anybody got anything to say before I close this out?
Well,
Nice.
yeah, we're gonna update. Next week we're gonna have Neil Romnell on, and he's gonna talk about his process with actually being traditionally published as a writer. He actually got signed by a contract by a publishing house, and they're paying him money, and they're giving him
shit.
editors and beta readers and covers. I want to listen to his experience next week, and then the week after that we have the Carolina Reaper fundraiser stream, where me and Tom will eat Carolina Reapers to raise money for Helping Hands.
When he says
The
me and
foster
Tom,
pro-
he means Tom very lightly. I might have one. I'm not stupid.
Well,
so
yeah.
with this next week's episode, is that going to be a take your shot or a writer's craft?
That is going to be a take your shot.
Okay, so we'll be playing Take Your Shot with Neil next week and talking about his experience with going through traditional publishing and everything like that. Yeah, so thank you guys for coming check out the show. This has been the Rough Craft, the show dedicated to creating new stories while enjoying nice, tasty new beer. We like to make rough drafts, we'll drink good crafts. Tonight we talked about military with Joseph, Devon, and special guest Cameron. And we hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. All those things that people tell you to do on their YouTube videos. And hopefully you guys come and check us out again. Devon's already out here. Cameron's on the screen. We're going to keep going now. So thank you guys for coming checking us out. We'll talk to you again at a later date and time. Thank you.